Yeah. What up, bro?
Title theft. It's on the rise and it's devastating if it happens to you.
Got like a minute here, right?
Actual home title deed. I don't need to know your date of birth and social security number. All I have to do is go to public.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Let's do it.
You may have no clue until you find out that your house has been sold or till several loans or several banks are foreclosing on you. For pennies a day, home title is a virtual barrier of protection around
All right.
24/7 monitoring. The instant they detect any tampering, you'll get an alert, and that's bad news for home title thieves. So when's the last time you checked on the title to your home? Find out if you're already a victim. Free title scan and complete title report. $100 value free to sign up. Just go to HomeTitleLock.com and sign up in minutes. That's HomeTitleLock.com. HomeTitleLock.com.
All right, here we go.
Tune in to the BTN Sound.
Oh,
On the fan.
oh man. Let's get it. Here we go.
It's AM to AM. AM.
Yeah, let's do it, and let's do it quickly. I mean, the Yankees want to play around all night, cutting to my show. I'm not going to have a lot of time. So let's get this thing up and running, open fast. We'll get to your calls at 888-808-1019. There's a lot to talk about, but I got to kind of condense things. The Yankees win, but, they want to go on the roller coaster. They want to lose a bunch of times, come back, win, I don't know, bail everybody out. Never easy with these New York Yankees, but you'll take the win, back-to-back wins. As we are now approaching Thursday, July 31st, trade deadline, the last day that you can trade and add to your team. I tip my cap to the Mets. We'll get to the Mets in a minute. The Mets are winning the trade deadline right now after what was a rough day, I thought, for the Mets, getting swept. Not having Juan Soto, Alvarez having to leave the game today, and Yu Darvish absolutely shoving against the Mets and them not having more than 3 hits, and they struggled a lot of that game, and then they make the move for Tyler Rogers, and at first I'm like, this is an overpay. For Tyler Rogers, you gave up one man's trash is another man's return for Tyler Rogers, and, the Giants are a team that's on their way to face the Mets in Citi Field. So I felt like, hey, you're helping a team that's, trying to get into the wild card and you're about to face, but whatever. I still think it was a good move. And you know what I say? A move looks better with another move. And the next move came from the rival Phillies, where I'm like, oh, checkmate. The Mets get swept by the Padres. They lose to San Diego and they lose to Philadelphia too, because Yohan Duran gets traded to the Philadelphia Phillies, and you're like, okay, they just one-up them. But then here comes David Stearns, always working and lurking in the shadows, and boom, Ryan Helsley. And it's like, okay, hold on. Gregory Soto, Tyler Rogers, Ryan Helsley, and Edwin Diaz. You come a far way from the Dickie Love Lady, Zach Pop, Chris Davinsky. You know what I'm saying? We'll get to that in a minute, but I know the Yankee fans want to get on the line at 888-808-1019. It was Cowboy Hat Night in the Bronx. If you went to that game tonight, good for you. Hopefully you didn't leave. I mean, maybe you had to leave because it went late. The Yankees find a way to win 5-4 in 11 innings. And there was a point where they only had, 2 hits. They had the same amount of hits as they had errors at one point. And I'm sitting there in my house thinking, this is pitiful, man. The Tampa Bay Rays aren't even a good team. After the news of the day was the Yankees getting Austin Slater. Yeah, move looks good with another move and another move and another move. But when are you going to make a move for some pitching? I understand Austin Slater. We'll get into that a little bit as well. But like that wasn't a move earlier today that got any Yankee fans to say, "Oh, now Cash is cooking." It was just another move. And really, it was a head scratching move because it made you think about why do you need all these outfielders? What's going on? But anyway, you go into this game tonight, the Will to Warren on the mound, and shout out to Will Warren. Will Warren goes out there, goes 6 innings, 6 hits, only gives up 1 run, 4 Ks, does the job. Will Warren is a whole rookie. And, he's been solid for us this year for the most part. There was some talk about with Heel coming back, who's coming out of the rotation and whatnot. Is he going to be sent down? I don't know. But tonight, he did his job. But the Yankees bats, again, without Aaron Judge, it just consistently feels like, man, without Aaron Judge, their offense is nada. Without Aaron Judge, he just affects pitchers and he affects the game so much. He affects managers, whether they're intentionally walking him or pitching around him, or if they actually challenge him and he's able to break a game open, he affects the lineup. Like the Yankees look completely different without Judge. But I'll say this about the Yankees as we get, into like the little things of the game. They're also missing his leadership. They're also missing just, his being. The team goes as he goes. And I feel like they're still kind of feeling it out this week about who's supposed to step up, who's supposed to get the job done. And there's a few guys tonight. We'll do the big shot of the night when we come back from the first break here. And there's a few guys that it could be. Cody Bellinger, man, I've been saying Cody Bellinger, I'd like to see him finish his career as a Yankee. I know there's some things that have to go on. I mean, some folks were talking about trading Cody Bellinger. There is no trading Cody Bellinger. Next to Judge, he's looking like the best player on the team. He's looking like MVP, like he once was. What a steal. Cody Poteet for Cody Bellinger. Like, that dude is a Yankee, man. That dude is fun to watch. A good ball player, a good hitter, good outfielder. And, he helps lead the way. Trent Grisham, quiet as kept, but clutch as hell. How many clutch moments has Trent Grisham given us? It makes this trade deadline even tougher. Now, I understand the thought about trading Trent Grisham, but man, I mean, he plays a plus Gold Glove center field, and he brings his bat cool, calm, and collected. He hits home runs to tie the game or take the lead when you need it. Trent Grisham, he is him. Even Stan getting it done. Stan got it done to give us the lead. 3 strikeouts, but, maybe if they keep him in the lineup and stop, playing games, as you saw Stanton and Judge earlier today in right field, catching fly balls, whatever, I don't know. Jason Dominguez worked a walk today, but Jason Dominguez, when he made that play, going up against the wall in left field, put his cleats in the wall, went up to make that play. That is a game-saving play to keep that inning at only 1 run given up. And, I knew Yes Network had showed us him practicing in left field going to rob home runs. I remember thinking he needs to practice going to the left center gap, not, up to rob home runs. He's more likely going to have to make plays in the gap. But, hey, he was ready for that one tonight, and that was huge. Ryan McMahon, as I talk about the team having 2 errors and 2 hits, Ryan McMahon had that early error, and it's like, oh, he is human. But he's been solid, man. It's good to have a guy like that on this team. And obviously he gets to play hero tonight, walking it off for the New York Yankees. He had 2 hits and the game-winning RBI. But, yeah, as I get down to these guys, and shout out to, Ben Rice, too, walk machine over the last few days. And made a really good play at first, obviously, with Simpson, who's the fastest guy in the league. That play that he made early in the game to snag that ball and throw it to Will Warren, that was executed perfectly. But as we talk about execution with these guys, man, I don't know what the hell goes on. I don't know what we're watching sometimes. Why is it so hard? Why are the easy things so difficult for the Yankees sometimes, man? It's frustrating as hell. Volpe again. And what a crazy night for Volpe. What a crazy couple nights for Volpe. He must be in some type of Twilight Zone fever dream. He must be having an outer body experience. He can't throw the ball to first base. And you could say Ben Rice should have scooped it. And I thought it was hilarious, right? They take Ben Rice out of the game to put Goldie into the game late. It's like, oh, we are now thinking about, okay, we got to make a defensive replacement here to put Goldie in the game to scoop the ball in the event that Devin Williams keeps the ball in the infield, which he didn't. But we're making a move to say, okay, let's put the better first baseman in, a defensive replacement here, just in case our shortstop skips the ball off the ground again. It's every night now, it seems. When will it end? When will they end it? We've reached insanity levels. Doing the same thing, expecting different results. 888-808-1019. But what a wild game is. I'm just from the top of my head thinking back to things, Volpe skips that ball, and it's like, come on, that's 16 errors now. But in his last 11 games, he's got 5 errors and 6 home runs. He can't stop hitting the ball out of the ballpark. What a clutch homer. Like, the kid hits that homer to left field, drops his bat, hops, skips. Electric. And I guess it kind of gets him out of the doghouse and makes up for the bad throw. You could say, Ben Rice has got to scoop that. Like, why? We shouldn't have to scoop. We shouldn't be talking so much about, that's a scoop that should be made. Throw the ball in the air. But yeah, Devin Williams on the mound. You knew Devin Williams was due for one, right? You just knew that. I don't know. People are hitting me up. Oh, Devin Williams. I don't know. It's always an adventure with Devin Williams. Devin Williams has been good. But like Devin, well, I don't care who you are. Walking guys never helps. And, giving up a single. And then here comes Lowe to the plate. And it's like, yo, are they going to lose this game like this? Are they going to lose this game off of a blown save? Devin Williams, another blown save. 3-2. Yeah, no, it was a Junior Caminero walk. And then Caballero pinch runner. What a weird game. Caballero looked like he twisted his ankle or did something going back to the base. Yeah, Josh Lowe homers. Just stays fair. 3-2 Rays, and it's misery. Man, I can't believe they're going to blow this game like this. Devin Williams, trade him. I know you guys have been talking about trading Devin Williams this week. You can't do that, honestly. It's like Luke Weaver, not for nothing. Luke Weaver isn't what Luke Weaver was. All the Dream Weaver, Weavy Wonder, Luke Sky Weaver, all that stuff. It's like he's just a regular dude now for the most part. But he comes out there and holds them to 1. And Austin Wells, I don't know if he was drunk. I think in the post game they were talking about the first base coach. Oh, I screamed. I'm like, no, what? How does that happen? You're on first base. How do you not know how many outs there are? How does that happen multiple times in a season? Remember, Dominguez didn't know how many outs there were when he was on second base. How do you end up how do you end up not knowing how many outs there are or thinking that there were 2 outs when Grisham lays down the bunt? Why would he be laying down a sack bunt for the last out of the inning? I was like, this can't be life. This can't be real. Are you drunk? And then like why are you walking back to the dugout undoing your glove? I don't know, bro. I don't know. Bailed everybody out tonight. Bailed everybody out. Bailed Austin Wells out, bailed Volpe out, bailed Devin Williams out, bailed everybody out tonight. Cody Bellinger with the triple. I don't know what to say about that game. 888-808-1019. It's good to win. Back-to-back wins, especially since the Blue Jays came back and rallied and won that game earlier against the Baltimore Orioles. The Orioles were this close to sweeping them. And here the Yankees sit 4 games back. Here the Yankees sit 2 games up in the wild card, the first wild card. And we approach the trade deadline where we're waiting for arms. Like I just said about Devin Williams and Luke Weaver, you need reinforcements. You need some other guys. Shout out to Brent Hedrick. Appreciate you, And even Yeri De Los Santos, who popped up this week out of nowhere. Didn't even know he was on his way back. But you need reinforcements. And the resources are drying up. You know what I'm saying? Because I just talked about in my open, Duran from Minnesota going to the Phillies. And I remember talking about last week how the Mets and the Yankees and all of baseball, but the Mets and Yankees specifically being in the same town are going to be, fighting for some of the same guys. And David Stearns is cooking. David Stearns has got 3 solid arms in that bullpen. The Yankees haven't added one yet. And I thought that was the priority. I thought that was the main need. Hey, this bullpen is in shambles. These guys are overused. Tim Hill, we see Tim Hill tonight. Tim Hill is just an old guy. Like, I'm ready. Whenever you need me, put me in, coach. But yeah, what is Cashman cooking? You guys know Brian Cashman is a buzzer beater type. He's wait till the last couple hours, the final hours till pencils down tomorrow. But what if there's nothing left? I'm sure we're going to hear that Brian Cashman and the New York Yankees didn't want to part ways with some of their top prospects. You got to give to get. That's what Philly did. Philly's like, hey, prospects are suspects. We were in the World Series a couple years ago. We think we can get back with this team right now. It's about right now. And that's the same thing for the Mets. They gave up what they gave up for rentals. But so what? They feel like they have a team this year that can get back to the NLCS and get further to the World Series. And I mean, I can't hate on anybody for going for it because nobody knows. The trades, you can't grade a trade today. We can say, and I joked and said that they got fleeced because they gave up Gilbert, one of their top prospects. But you know what? Even thinking about him, like, what does David Stearns think of, the prospects he inherited or guys that, Billy Epler got? Like, those aren't his guys. This is his second year. I mean, Stearns has some relationships, man. I don't know who he knows, but I know people know him because he's able to do some stuff in the dark. There's no leaks. There's no rumors, really. Then boom. Like the Ryan Helsley thing today, I'm like, that's a huge W. That came out of nowhere, and everybody was in on him. I think they said there was up to 12 teams in on him. But yeah, Cash, you got to strike. Do something tonight. Do something tonight. Why not? I mean, the Rays are here, and they're working. They traded their catcher. The first game of the series, Zach Little goes out there and goes 5 innings, 2 hit, shutout baseball, 4 Ks. They traded him. Maybe right behind the Mets, the Cincinnati Rays are cooking. The Cincinnati Reds are cooking. They get Little from the Rays, and they get Key Brian Hayes. But yeah, we'll talk all about the trade deadline. We'll talk all about what the Yankees still need. I also think they need a starter. You better be able to pull Sandy Alcantara at this point. Don't you have relationships with the Marlins? I'm sure you do. You traded with them for Jazz Chisholm Jr. Augustin Ramirez is over there. You traded with them for John Birdie 2 years ago. Call him up. And for the Mets, like, they're saying the Mets aren't done yet. And I'm like, if the Mets aren't done yet as far as adding bullpen arms and relief help, what the hell are they cooking up? Are they thinking that, hey, none of our guys go longer than 4 or 5 innings? We just lost to the Padres and they threw a bullpen game. We got beat by the Dodgers last year, who got all the way to the World Series throwing bullpen games. Maybe David Stearns and Mendoza are cooking up to say, yo, we can win games throwing bullpen games. 888-808-1019. It's about to get real interesting as we get closer to this trade deadline. And, what I was saying, I'm tipping my cap to the Mets. I am. We might have to learn how to speak Mets this October, Yankee fans. I hope the Yankees make the moves here. But, like, as of right now, they've made marginal moves. Ryan McMahon is a good third baseman. Glad to have him. Ahmed Rosario, especially if you're not going to use him to spell Volpe. Austin Slater, okay. Sending Carlos Carrasco away, all right. Those are marginal moves. But, like, teams don't win the World Series making marginal moves. The teams that win the World Series are teams that go and get impact players. You know what I'm saying? Like, rarely do you see a team stand pat or make a couple little tweaks around the margins and win it. You have to add difference makers. And the Mets have. They've completely revamped their bullpen. Hell, if they want to go out and add a bat, who knows? Like, they're still in on Luis Robert. I know the Phillies are, and they're competing with them. But yeah, Stearns is lurking and working, and he's done a lot already quietly. who are the Met fan and the Mets team, I know they got to be fired up. Like, Ryan, there's just the thing about Ryan Helsley and Edwin Diaz at the back of your bullpen. If you have a little bit of a lead, you're good. You're good. So, yeah, shout out to David Stearns. Impressive day today. Wasn't so impressed with the Tyler Rogers move, giving up Buto and Blade Daywalker Tidwell, because I'm like, those are two guys that, pitched in Major League Baseball this year. Buto can be fixed. He could be a starter. He could be a reliever. Blade Tidwell is young. And, Gilbert we heard so much about over the last couple of years. But so what? Prospects are suspects. Another man's trash, another man's return. And it's not about that. It's about winning. It's about this team this year going for it. The Mets are clearly going for it. They built a deeper bullpen. They might be able to throw some bullpen games, and they still very much could go get another bat and another starter. The Yankees got to put their foot on the gas. But I told you guys a couple weeks ago, don't get your hopes up for too much. Don't set yourself up for failure, because then you're just going to be disappointed when you don't get Dylan Cease or Zach Gallen or whoever else. But like I said, yeah, the relievers are the resources for the relief market. They're drying up. Let's see what happens with Mitch Keller and David Bednar and some of these other guys. I think people are kind of going quiet on Eugenio Suarez a little bit as well. But yeah, it should be a really interesting day. And I'm not on until 7 p.m. tomorrow for the 5-hour KM to AM. So I want to talk trade deadline with you guys tonight. And I know the Met fan, after being swept, after Soto not being in, after Alvarez not being in, after some Met fans feeling like, hey, we gave up too much. To hell with that. Once you get Ryan Helsley, a move looks better with another move. Gregory Soto, Tyler Rogers, the submariner, and then Ryan Helsley, he's a dog. He's going to come out there throwing gas. I think he comes out to Hell's Bells. He's going to rock Citi Field. Edwin Diaz, David Stearns, he's smart. And I don't know who he knows, but I know some people know him because they gave him a couple pieces already, and he can keep cooking. They're trying to get this Mets team over the hump and back to the NLCS and further. And the Yankees have to act like with this team, which I will say, this team does not give me the feeling of last year, and the American League is not the same as last year. But how many of these game of the years have we had? There was another game of the year tonight. You can't have game of the year against the Tampa Bay Rays. But at the same time, man, they show you that they can come back, that they can fight. Multiple walk-off wins, come from behind wins, never say die wins. So you can't give up on that team. Brian Cashman, you said you were going to town. Don't go to Midtown. We want to go to Titletown. Keith McPherson on the fan. 888-808-1019. I'll say good morning on the other side. Don't go anywhere. We're coming right back. Yeah, right. Bro, they might not need one. If you have a bullpen like this, all you need is guys to go to 4 or 5 innings. Might not need one. Might not need one. I see the vision, bro. I see where they're going, bro. What are you talking about? They definitely have quality, man. And they're not done either. They're not done either. Looking for more stuff. Yeah, so we'll come back here with the big shot beat. Yeah, Griffin Jacks is still out there. Let me pull up the MLB trade deadline tracker that I had. MLB trade deadline tracker. And here. Man, let me see, bro. This chat is lighting up. We got almost 1,200 in here off the open, so we probably get up to, who knows. I'm on till 2 a.m. Obviously, appreciate all y'all in here. Send your questions, your thoughts, your topics in the chat, and they could be on the radio. I try to bring it, from the internet to the air, interactive. If you do want to just call and be on the line, we've got a full rack of calls. Yankees playoff chances, trade deadline, Brian Cashman, Yankees talk. Was just at the Yankee game, so mostly Yankee calls, but I will get to the Mets. Yeah, Met is happy to be here. Same with Ryan McMahon, same with Austin Slater. Like, why wouldn't you be? Yeah. Y'all see me hit the hey. Jason Dominguez was hitting the hey. I saw Dominguez doing that. I'm like, was it Aura Farming Kid? Yeah, but they don't care, bro. That's the thing. They're going for it this year. Soto day to day, but I think they said he's going to be all right. He'll probably play Friday. I listened to some Met fans in a space tonight. I listened to Evan Roberts, Rico Bronya tonight. Jose Budo was cooked. He was trashed. They needed to make room anyway. Blade Tidwell, he made some spot starts. Young guy, don't know what he's going to be. And Gilbert, I don't know. Drew Gilbert's 24. Time to, piss or get off the pot with him. So it definitely seems like a lot. 2 major leaguers and 1 borderline major leaguer. But that's why I said one man's trash. Oh, the Mariners just got Eugenio Suarez. He's back. Good for him. What did they give up to bring this guy back that they didn't want? Yeah, I was listening to Mets radio on Odyssey. Again, like Gary Cohen probably was like, that's a lot for one guy. That's what I think the initial reaction was, but you can't grade the trade. A move looks better with another move, and adding Tyler Rogers to Gregory Soto and then following up with Ryan Helsley. Stearns is good at this.
New Jersey and New York only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards paid back in unrestricted withdrawable funds. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, help is available. In New Jersey, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467-369.
Get the latest on the Giants and Jets on WFAN, WFAN FM, WFAN FM HD1, New York, and Pharmacy Sports Station.
Good morning at 12 o'clock. I'm Marco Belletti, and this report is brought to you by PoliceOfficersRightToSue.com. Wild back and forth affair with the Yankees able to respond multiple times. Game time, Trent Grisham homer in the 8th. Anthony Volpe pulled the trick again in the 9th. Cody Bellinger, an RBI triple in the 10th, setting up the heroics from Ryan McMahon in the 11th. 5-4 over the Rays in 11. Dave Sims, the call right here on the Fan. Bombers have won 3 of 4 with Aaron Judge on the IL. Will Warren didn't factor, but gave up just a run over 6. Also, before the game, they acquired outfielder Austin Slater from the White Sox. Mets hoping their bullpen has gone from a major weakness to a big-time strength. Pair of deals to get 2 important back-of-the-pen arms, acquiring Cardinals closer Ryan Helsley for 3 prospects, along with sidewinding right-hander Tyler Rogers from the Giants.
So he allows me to have more flexibility, to match off, be more aggressive when I need to. He just make our unit a lot deeper back there.
On the field, Yu Darvish silenced them. 2 hits over 7 Ks. Padres shut down the Mets 5-0. Clay Holmes allowed 4 runs, 8 hits over 3 2/3. No Juan Soto. Mets hopeful he's back in the lineup Friday. Francisco Alvarez left after he took a foul ball off his mask. He did pass concussion protocol. A couple other moves. The Phillies get closer. Yohan Duran. Steven Matz goes to the Red Sox and the Mariners. That brought back Eugenio Suarez. 81 degrees, clear skies, Central Park. That's happening. I'm Marco Belletti.
WFAN could talk about your favorite teams, the Fan, on the Odyssey, iHeart, and TuneIn apps.
The big shot of the night is brought to you by WFAN and me, Keith McPherson. Bright lights in the big city up in the Bronx, man. Everybody played a part in that win. We got a few big shots. Let's pour a round of shots up for the New York Yankees, starting with Trent Grisham. Clutch. Already talked about that guy hitting homers. It's going to be hard to part ways with him. I know he's only making $5 million and somebody might be interested, but it's like, hey, like if he can do that in the postseason, he was glued to the bench last year. I kind of want to see that. Anthony Volpe. Yeah, I know. 16 errors, the yips, whatever. But he is super hot right now. 6 homers in his last 11 games. I think he had 6 through 91 games. And Cody Bellinger. I think I saw Katie Sharp right. Cody Bellinger with that triple. I think that was let me get the actual exact wording so I don't do it verbatim. With Cody Bellinger coming through. And you know what's funny? As many guys as they left on base tonight, like I'm sitting in my apartment by myself. I need to start live streaming when I watch the game. I'm like, I am tossing and turning on the couch. I'm pacing. I'm walking around because I'm like, as many of these guys as they left on base tonight, leaving Cody Bellinger there, that's the worst one. But all right, they won the game. So Katie Sharp writes, Cody Bellinger is the first player in Yankees history with a game-tying triple in extra innings. Fun fact. Didn't know that. And then last but not least, Ryan McMahon. Welcome to the New York Yankees, earning your pinstripes, walk-off winner. And you see how excited he is. He's talking about this is big-time baseball. I remember talking to you guys about this is not Colorado. This is not Coors Field. This is not the Rockies. This guy's not going to be batting 5th. And he comes through and he gets it done. And you also see Ahmed Rosario fired up, right? This is also not the Nationals. You also got to see Austin Slater in the dugout. This is not the Chicago White Sox. So good for these guys to join this team. Add some more pitching, please. Bruce is in Flushing on the Fan. What's up, Bruce? It's tough to even like think about like because if you felt like you lost the game so many different times, right?
Talk about the game and then talk about the trade deadline. On the game, I am 67 years old, and I have never seen a game like this in my entire history of watching the Yankees. There were times, the up and down emotions, there were times I said, you know what? They need to lose this game. They're so bad.
Yeah, make a move tonight, lose the game, and make Cashman get on his job and trade for someone tonight.
I mean, they didn't deserve to win this game. Austin Wells doesn't know how many outs there is, and Boone addressed it in the post-game show and said, the first base coach said how many outs there were. Now, either Boone's lying or Austin Wells is, I don't know, is not thinking.
But like, how are you in the game and you don't know how many outs there are? You're like, that's what I said. What were you thinking? Did you think that Trent Grisham was laying down a bunt with 2 outs to make the final out? I don't know. I'm like, you're the runner. He's moving over. What are you doing?
And in some ways, this game was like a redemption game for Dominguez in the field, who was looking like Roy Wright out there, maybe even better at times.
Yeah, he's trying to stay. He's not trying to get traded.
Yeah. And Volpe, who's all of a sudden becoming a home run hitter. I mean, it's one thing to hit home runs down the line, which you say, okay, maybe you can do it. Last night, he hits one 452 feet. It's amazing. This team is making me nuts. It's really making me nuts. Now, if you're Brian Cashman, you have to decide to pull a trigger on your good prospects. After watching this game, do you say to yourself, this is a flawed team, and I don't want to giving up my really good prospects? Or do you say they've came back 2 or 3 times and it's worth giving up my prospects?
It depends who. If it's Mason Miller that we're getting back, run it. It depends who. Now, we just heard Eugenio Suarez going back to the Mariners. I was talking about the Mets and obviously how they've gone all in. Not even all in because, they gave up what they gave up for rentals in Helsley and Rogers. But, they gave up guys that aren't, they didn't give up Mark Vientos or Ronnie Mauricio or Brett Beatty. They gave up 2 guys that played for the Major League club in Tidwell and Buto, but those guys will not be missed. And then the prospects that they gave up are guys that are blocked or not going to factor. I don't know. It depends. Brian Cashman has to do both. If there is somebody on the table that is under control or that could really help this team this year, then run it. But we already know Spencer Jones not getting moved, George Lombard not getting moved, and everybody's going to play the game of Keith, this was the Phillies number 4 and 6 prospect. Look at who that is for the Yankees. That's this guy and that guy. Cashman's not doing that.
Well, the way I see it, he's got a couple of options. If you read what's online, number 1, San Diego is looking to trade Suarez, which I don't understand why, but that's a possibility. And you bring back a starting pitcher or not. Then you have Pittsburgh, who Curry mentioned Bednar as a possibility. And then you have Oakland. Now, I don't want to give up Jones, especially for a pitcher who with one pitch can wreck his arm. But if I have to empty, would you trade your top prospects, not Jones, not Lombardi, and take on Severino's contract?
No.
Even if it meant getting their closer?
Oh, if it was a deal with Mason Miller, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm not interested in Severino.
No, but if you can get Miller,
but if that's the attachment, if that's the deal, then run it. Yeah.
And you look, and you and I both know Cashman's modus operandi. He wants to wait until the last minute to get the cheapest price possible. Which, look, he got McMahon for Colorado for nothing, and look what Cincinnati paid for Pittsburgh's third base.
Brian Hayes, yeah.
So Brian, we can criticize Brian, and at times he deserves it, but at times he doesn't know what he's doing. At times.
No, he definitely knows what he's doing. it just doesn't always work out. Like I forget. Joe's McFly was talking about there was a trade that Cashman didn't make because Peraza was in it, and like Peraza is going to be a casualty any day now.
Yeah, and tomorrow's game, unless they're going to bring up somebody from the minor leagues, I don't know who they would demote, but they have nobody in the bullpen for tomorrow. They absolutely have nobody in the bullpen in tomorrow because Marcus is not going to go more than 5, at most 6, and even that's a miracle. So I don't expect to win tomorrow's game, but I will make a prediction for you. Cashman will get 1, if not 2, pitches tomorrow.
He has to. Thanks for the call, Bruce. 888-808-1019. I mean, to hell with the bullpen budget. Win the series. It's a day game. It's a quick turnaround. There's rain in the forecast. They're going to have to hustle this game along. Stroman, I don't know what to expect from him, but I'm not expecting much. To hell with the bullpen budget, man. Somebody's got to pitch. It's about winning, and it's about trying to stay where we are and not lose ground and make up some ground. And the Tampa Bay Rays aren't good. They're selling. They're in your building selling off pieces. They're not that good. They've got a bunch of young guys. Like you've got to be able to, take the series. I wasn't expecting them to take the series. I was expecting a split, but it's right there for you. Get it done. Jose from Brooklyn was at the game. You're on the Fan. What's up, Jose?
What's going on, Keith? And good evening. And got the sweet looking cowboy hat. I gotta say, it's very nice material, and
Yep.
And since it was also an alumni event for my university at Pace, I also got this nice Pace
nice.
University
The Yankees do a lot of that.
Yankee cap.
Somebody's university day every day over there.
Yeah, pretty much. So I wanted to definitely share my thoughts on the game, and the thing is it was a wild game, and I just kept saying, I'm letting the delusion take over because I needed to be positive at every moment because this team just literally it gave it up at almost every possible time, and at this point I'm just like the Austin Wells situation. It gave me flashback trauma of when I was at a bobblehead day. I forgot which one it was, where IKF stole second. Was clearly safe. The umpire said he was safe, and he started to walk off. Here is the situation where it's clearly it's 1 out. They make the out, and Austin Wells decides to just walk off and think that there was 3 outs and the game was over.
We give them outs on offense and defense.
And it's just amazing because it's just like, you know what? I'm tired of the verbal jujitsu of trying to, not blame the owner, not just totally blame the GM, which everyone had, which to me, in my mind, everyone has blame. I'm just wondering, when is Hal Steinbrenner, and I know it may never happen, when is he actually going to sit both of these guys into these office and say, this is bad baseball? I don't know what type of analytics this is. Thank you for that. I just wanted to throw that out.
A minute after never. Thanks for the call, Jose. Hal Steinbrenner, there's no scenario where Hal walks into Brian Cashman's office and says this is bad baseball or you're fired or fire the man. I don't think they have conversations like that. I don't think it works like that. I think they have mutual conversations about the team's struggles and probably the Volpe's issues and some of the errors and stuff like that. This is a lot of you guys call it Booney ball, Aaron Boone era, and I can't defend it anymore. I can't fight it anymore. And I talk about these guys having no fear of anything. They have no fear of making mistakes. They have no fear of being pulled from a game. There's no fear of the managers. There's no fear of being traded. It's the night before the trade deadline. You guys are still running in the outs, making errors, swinging out of your shoes, not stringing together hits. It's just whatever, anything goes. But they found a way to win. Ultimately, they found a way to win. The trade I was talking about, Joe's McFly earlier said, during all this trade frenzy stuff, just remember Cashman said no to a trade for Matt Olson because Peraza was in the deal. And how'd that pan out? JC Escara, happy trails. Isn't it crazy that JC Escara was just catching catching Max Fried's start against Toronto? There's too many T's there. Like J.C. Escara was just the casualty for Austin Slater, but that's who was behind the plate in Toronto, the team that's ahead of us in the division. That's who was behind the plate catching your ace pitcher. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Mike is down in Tom's River on the Fan next. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Keith, how you been, my man?
Good. How are you?
Doing well, thanks. Happy trade deadline day.
We are here. Today is the day. Good morning. Good morning. It is July 31st.
Yeah, it is an exciting day, but as we know and as in years past, Cash ain't gonna make he's not gonna make that huge move that you see a lot of these writers out there speculating on it. That's always it's all media propaganda putting out there just to drive up prices on teams.
Yep, Yankees for clicks. Yeah, we're gonna get Steven Kwan. We're gonna get Mason Miller. We're gonna get Sandy Alcantara. Doubt it.
Not happening. But a guy who I would be opening for is like, somebody along the levels of like, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his last name correctly, but Phil Maton from St. Louis.
Yeah, maybe Phil Maton.
Yeah, good. He's got good strikeout numbers. His numbers are good. And I know St. Louis kept him and Matt behind on the road trip. And Matt got traded, But you can't really blame Cashman. Why should he go out there and make a huge deal when these guys are, as Sterling said last year, they run the bases like drunks, like their heads aren't in the game. So you got all these guys on the roster. It's like, what's going on here? I mean,
it's just allowed. That's what I'm saying. They're not locked in. I've been saying for a while. Thanks for the call, Mike. I'm like, they need like a code word, but you shouldn't need a code word. You are the Yankees. You play in Yankee Stadium. How do you not know how many outs there are? You're on the field. We're trying to win the damn game. How? You have millions of fans watching. How is this allowed? How are you allowed to be asleep at the wheel? Because it's allowed. Because your job is safe. Because Volpe can go out there every night and spike the ball on the ground, and his job is safe. What a conundrum. All this stuff is connected, man. Nobody gets punished for anything. There's no accountability. It is what it is. We can't be shocked. We can't wonder why. This is part of their DNA. It's a part of who they are. When they say the fish thinks from the head, when I tell you guys that, companies mimic the management, whether it's a restaurant where the service isn't good, start with the manager. You look at Aaron Boone, you say, why do your teams always do this? And I know it happens in baseball. Look at the Tampa Bay Rays. But they're a fourth-place team. They don't have the talent. They don't have the payroll. Like, why? Why can't they play a clean game? Why can't they play one clean game, one tight game without something to make you say, oh, my God, what is going on with these guys? I don't know. Tony's in the Bronx. Tony, you're on the Fan.
Yeah, what's up?
I'm glad we won, but at the same time, it's like, do we have to go through that many heart palpitations?
I got to tell you this, Keith, I got a personal thing with you, man. I'm going to break that down. You're a homer. That's what you are, I don't know what it is. You get sweets when you go with your kid and everything. I got a newborn kid, a boy, my first boy. And, and now he's going to be a professional athlete, by the way, because me and his wife.
You got a couple beers, Tony? You good? Yeah. Oh, man. I don't know. I was letting you go. I give you guys rope, even if you're trying to come at me. And you came at my kid, wilding. I didn't even have my kid in the suites. My kid was climbing up to the bleachers. My kid was in 203 over the weekend. What you saying, bro? I'm a homer and you get suites. Yeah, I am a homer. I'm a Yankee fan. I wouldn't be on the Fan if it wasn't like, come on, what are we talking about, bro? Nobody would have heard of me if I was a White Sox fan in New York City. And everything I get, I've earned. Trust, look me up. I'm not hard to find. Everything that I get, I've earned. 1,800 people on my live stream right now. However many people can hear this show right now. However many loyal WFAN listeners listen every night that know me and have gotten to know me. Nothing has been handed to me. I'm still grinding. I'm still out here taking everything. demanding my respect, putting in the work, watching the games, showing up to the games. I don't just get handed sweet tickets, and you don't know who I know or what I do. I was in the suites before I was in WFAN. I was everywhere. I was in Legends. You can find me in that stadium in every section. And I'm nice to everybody. Hey, nice to meet you. Sure, of course you could take a picture. Let's go Yanks. Come on. Root the team on. You got a problem, got a bone to pick with me. Focus on something else. Or go to bed, bro. Go to bed. We got trade deadline stuff to talk about. We've got the game to talk about. But I know you're a fan. You're that obsessed that you called WFAN and tried to. You couldn't even get the words out. But I do hope that your kid becomes a professional athlete or whatever. That's what's wrong. I got a newborn kid too. See, maybe if you took a different approach and you hit me on the internet, maybe I could pair your son up with my son. Maybe I could bring you to the suites. Maybe I can help you out. But I don't know. You know, this is late night sports talk radio in New York. After a couple brouhahas, after the Yankees put you on that roller coaster, up and down, I'm going to call and get out on Keith. 888-808-1019. Can we reset? Can we get back to the conversations at hand? It ain't about me. I'm just driving the bus. It ain't about me. I just happen to be the host right now. Big Mac will come up and he'll be the host later on. And we'll talk through all of the same things. I'm trying to see what they gave up for Eugenio Suarez. He was already with the Mariners 2 years ago. And they bring him back. Now, I ain't worried about the Mariners at all. They came here and got swept by the Yankees. But I see what they're trying to do. They always need offense. As I say that, Randy Arozarena with a solo shot, they're playing right now. I didn't want Eugenio Suarez after I thought about it. I'm like, this team commits too many errors. This team has a bunch of home run hitters, strikeout artists. He's a rental. I'm fine with what they gave up for Ryan McMahon. They wouldn't have been able to give that up for Eugenio Suarez. I am fine with what they gave up for Ahmed Rosario, Austin Slater, and even a little move to, get Carlos Carrasco up out of here. But I'm not fine with the fact that the number one priority is bullpen repair. Adding to this bullpen. This bullpen is not good enough. You shouldn't have to have so many heroics. And you shouldn't have to have so many come from behind wins and walk-offs and things like that. Like, they have to fix this bullpen. And guys are getting claimed. Guys are getting moved. So here we are on this last day. Let's see what happens. Moose is in Jamaica on the fan. Next, what's up, Moose?
You're Keith, what it do?
You're, holding it down, man. I don't know what's going to come through that phone, but I'll be ready for it.
I feel you, dog. It is what it is. Feel me, though. Feel me flow real quick. Tell me not, the Yankees, Austin Slater from Saved by the Bell, with the way the Yankees have been playing this past 2 months. Ryan McMahon, Zach Powers, and stuff like that, and Brian Cashman is the principal, Bellamy, and stuff like that. Like, I kind of get that vibe. Like, not even to throw it back to, 80s, 90s TV, but, I'm watching a sitcom. Even though, never lost faith, what a game. The game literally was trying to, figure out, a calc physics problem with, a calculator you get at a 99-cent store. But you need a graphing calculator. It made no sense. But the point of my call is, I'm like $150 calculator to come up with the algorithms and whatever they do in their analytics to make sense of that nonsense. Cody Bellinger hitting a 1-2 changeup or a 2-2 changeup 4 inches off the plate, a gapper that doesn't even score with less than 2 outs, and extra innings with a drawn-in infield, and power hitters who can hit 300-foot fly balls and score easily on a sacrifice fly. They can't even do that because the pitcher's not throwing it in the zone and they're chasing everything. You make sense of that with your algorithm. Anyway, analytics for the New York Yankees. I'm still riding.
Hey, it's incomplete. Where we are right now with these marginal moves, I understand them, right? I understand what they have done, right? Everybody was looking at Austin Slater today. He can play a little first base. Maybe they're going to make a move with Ben Rice. Maybe they're going to make a move with Paul Goldschmidt. He hits lefties. they're looking at Dominguez and Grisham, and they're thinking about situations that they're going to be in, and maybe this guy, I don't know. There's some people saying, hey, maybe Judge is not going to be able to throw the rest of the year, and they're not going to put Giancarlo Stanton in right field. You need to have another outfielder. So
Obviously,
this deadline's not done yet. It's incomplete. There's more moves on the way, and they may shake the room and remove somebody that we're not expecting, or somebody that might have to go. And I don't know. I'm ready for it. My hopes aren't high for what type of relievers or starter they're going to get, but you never know. Cash could surprise us.
And I'll leave you with this, Keith. I'm reading the rumors from MLB.com regarding the Yankees specifically, and the Eduardo Cabrera and Shane Bieber aspect. I'm just concerned if we were to trade for a starter. Bullpen, I don't know if Cashman wants to give up major prospects for either rental bullpen pieces or controllable pieces, because he has a way of picking up somebody with like a 5 ERA and turning them into a shutdown reliever with whatever the Yankees got in the development and scouting and all that stuff. But when it comes to the starters, whether it be Bieber or Eduard Cabrera from the Marlins, Bieber is a rental. I'm more down with that, even though he doesn't have amazing stuff. But Cabrera has controllable. But when healthy next year, when Clark Schmidt and Cole come back, we'll have probably the best starting rotation in the AL, if not of all Major League Baseball, if Rodon continues to own up to his contract. So I don't know how I'm feeling about getting a starter that's controllable and stuff like that. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not worried about next year. I'm worried about this next day. It is now freshly July 31st, and the deadline is at 6 p.m. And as of right now, the Yankees have made some moves, but their deadline is incomplete. I just got an alert from Dominic on Twitter. He said Oakland didn't put Mason Miller in for the 9th inning to get the save. I guess you can read into that. Take it as you may, right? Are they planning on moving Mason Miller? If so, they're like, hey, don't put him in where he could, I don't know, blow his arm out. He could potentially pull some, get hurt, and then the deal is off. Yeah, Perkins gets the save. Jack Perkins gets the save for the Sacramento A's. What an interesting time. If you're a baseball fan, this time is great because there's just a ton of conversation about who's making moves, who's doing what, and what your team is or isn't going to do. And this deadline has been interesting just for Emmanuel Clase and him being a name that we thought was going to get moved. And then he comes up with the gambling suspension. With the Guardians, Stephen Kwan and Cade Smith. Let's see what happens with those guys. For, the Reds to go out there. The Reds got, Terry Francona managing. They're like, hey, we're going for it this year. We beat the Yankees in our building. We're going for it. They go get Key Brian Hayes. They go get Zach Little. The Phillies, like I said, the Phillies giving up top prospects to get Johan Duran, arguably the top reliever that's available. And the Mets, it comes back to the Mets. I think the Mets right now, they're winning the deadline just off of their bullpen repair, and they could go get another bat. And it's not like they need bats, but maybe. So, yeah, I'm not sure what's going to happen here. Let's take a break. 888-808-1019. I told you that Eugenio Suarez went to the Mariners. I think in the update you heard Steven Matz to the Red Sox. Before that, Ramon Urias. The Astros obviously are cooking. They land Ramon Urias from the Orioles. I've already mentioned Zach Little from the Rays to the Reds. And, we'll see if anything breaks this early morning. Oh, the Cubs got Michael Soroka a couple hours ago from the Nationals. And I think those are only moves really tonight that have popped up. Only moves that are really even anything. Oh, Rafael Montero to the Tigers. So teams are making moves. Teams are trying to improve their team, and resources are drying up. And I don't know. I think the Yankees are probably done right now. And I understand that game was exhausting in 11 innings, but then tomorrow is now, or in the morning starts a new day. And the Yankees need some urgency here. And I expect the Mets to continue to cook as well. Keith McPherson on the Fan. It's 12:30. You got me till 2 a.m. Dial 888-808-1019. We'll be right back.
NFL camps are open, which means pads are cracking and spirals are.
People are mad, weird, and jealous, and drunk, and sleepy, and shit comes with the territory, bros. You got to be ready for whatever's coming through that that phone, man. It's funny, right? Because like, you know, I hesitate to post my son, but I love my son more than anything in this physical earth. The reason that I even am physically here working right now is so that I can take care of my son. The reason I have this YouTube channel, which is monetized, and it's McPherson brand, is because I'm paving a way for my son, Jackson McPherson, so that when he grows up one day, I can bestow nepotism on him. But like, there's also this thought that I always have about hiding my son and keeping my son private, which is hard to do when you're proud of something. It's the greatest thing I ever did was make this person. You know, you put your son out there, as I've put a couple videos out there of my son at the stadium. And what does that turn into? A drunk caller, Tony from the Bronx, saying, "Oh, you're a homer. You get sweets." I don't get sweets through WFAN. I've been in the WFAN suite once or twice, but not with my kid. I have friends who own suites in Yankee Stadium. I have people that I know that invite me up to the suite. People that work for the Yankees. And you know what? The first couple of times I brought my son to the stadium, yeah, he was in the suite. And then that comes out on the radio in a drunk call, like, against me. How stupid is that? It's trade deadline time. We can talk about so many other things, but yeah, if you want to make it about me, make it about me. I'm blessed. I get paid to do this. I get paid to talk sports in New York City. I understand there's jealousy and envy that comes with that. It's a blessed position to be in. But like I said, I'm just driving the bus. I am just driving the bus, man. It is 12:30 in the morning. You could go do anything else with your life. You could catch Z's. You could count sheep. But clearly, I own some space in some of these grown men's mind. I don't know Tony from the Bronx. I couldn't pick him out of a lineup, but, you know, calls the show to do that. But never met a hater in real life. I always flash that one. Never met a hater in real life. These people only exist behind phones. They're protected behind an iPhone. They're protected anonymously. His name might not even be Tony. He might not be from the Bronx, but appreciate y'all in here, man. Like, this is the real shit. Like, the people that are in the chat, this community that we've built, where, you know, you can pull up after the game, talk amongst yourselves. Like, I brag about this because when I first started doing content and stuff, I remember going live for 2, 3, 4 people. That's why I flexed it on air. I got 1,800 people in the live now. This is about to hit 2,000. Like that means something, right? That means you got motion. That means people rock with you. That means you are somebody that actually, like, matters. And all of us are someone that matters. But it comes with haters. It comes with negativity. It comes with stupid people that just, like, I don't know. I'm not like that. Like, I don't hate on nobody like that, for real. I support people. Even if they're whack. Like, do your thing. Even if I don't like you, then I'm not paying attention to you. I'm not listening to your show. I'm not in your chat. Because, like, why would I do that if I don't rock with you? But anyway, a 22-year-old son. Your son is 20 years older than my son. God bless. I can't imagine. What that's like. Family first, yeah. Caller is the one with the explaining to do. That's why I was like, bro, you have a couple drinks, you drunk? Haters gonna hate. My boy Dre says H&L. Haters never like. The haters never like you. They don't like you to shine. We hope he not from the Bronx. I'm gonna find him for you. Yeah, he probably not outside. He's sitting at home drinking beers, waiting for me to get on the radio. Like, he literally held just to do that. All right, we're back. The Yankees win, and we're waiting to win the trade deadline. And winning the trade deadline doesn't mean against other teams. As like I said earlier today, I felt like the Mets and the Phillies were kind of going back and forth, where the Mets get Rogers and then the Phillies counter with Duran, and the Mets are like, hey, we got another one in the tuck. Here's Ryan Helsley. He's like, whoa, good day for that. And you know what? It had to bounce back because you get swept by the Padres. The offense gives you nada. Clay Holmes, you're starting to wonder about, is he going to move to the bullpen? I know Mendy has, said good things about what he's seen from Clay Holmes. And I also know that it's not just Volpe that can make an error. Francisco Lindor's made some errors too. And Holmes got into a little bit of trouble today. But yeah, ultimately it's on the offense. The Mets offense, they must have just been 1 foot into the plane today. Like they knew they were going home today. They knew what time the flight was leaving. Like they didn't even get any opportunities. Team with runners in scoring position, they had 2 opportunities, 0 for 2. Team left on base, 3. For a while they didn't have anything going. I was listening to the game, and they didn't have anybody get on second base until Nimmo had a double late in that game, maybe 8th inning. And Yu Darvish turned back the clock. Yu Darvish, don't look at his ERA. That's still Yu Darvish. He dominated. But you know what? You can kind of throw that to the side. I think I saw on SNY that the Mets have been swept multiple times this year, and I don't want to be wrong, but I think I saw 4 times they've been swept this year. It's baseball, man. It's unpredictable. You go from having a 7-game win streak to a 3-game losing streak, but they're coming home. And we'll get to some of these Mets calls as well. They're coming home where they'll face the Giants, a team that I originally thought and in my chat they were saying, oh, Gary Cohen said that the Mets trade. Let's see, Chris says that was a horrible trade for the Mets. Even Gary Cohen acted like it was a terrible trade because the Mets gave up way too much. There's a lot of factors in it. It's like, okay, you're helping a fringe team. You're helping a team that's, trying to get into the wild card, a team that you just beat, but a team that you're about to face. When you come home, you're giving them major league caliber players, and one man's trash is another man's, hey, we can turn these guys into something, but it doesn't matter. It's about David Stern's vision, and I think he's got a clear vision for what he's trying to do. Last year, he revamped the bullpen, and, it was all right. Now he's cooking with gas. Like, you're looking at a Mets bullpen that might be the best bullpen in baseball for the rest of the way. We'll see what it turns into. But, yeah, 888-808-1019, I felt like with the Soto injury and then the Alvarez injury and then Clay Holmes only going 3 2/3 and then the sweep and not being able to get anything going offensively, Stearns is like, I will win the day. I will save the day. And even when, the Rogers moves go down and then the Phillies make a move and you're like, damn, look what the Phillies did. They're like, nah, we'll hit them with another trade. A move looks good with another move. And it's clear, even though they're rentals, whatever, it's clear that Stearns is moving in a way where him and Cohen are prioritizing this year. And before we take a call, think about this year, right? This could be your last year with Pete Alonso. Think about this year. Like, nobody knows what the National League is going to be. Everybody wants to assume that the Dodgers are going to be back there. Like, no, why can't it be the Mets this year? And the home field advantage that you have this year. You make these moves now, and you've got all of these games coming up in August at home. The Mets have 3 against the Giants, 3 against the Cardinals, 3 against the Braves, 3 against the Mariners, 3 against the Phillies, 4 against them. There's a ton of games where your fan base is going to be behind you. You're fighting for first place. You're fighting for position. And I think Stearns is thinking about what's to come, like right here. I think Stearns is thinking about, okay, let's get this bullpen together right now. Let's fight through these dog days of baseball where we're going to be home in front of our fans, the best home field advantage in baseball, where we got to win and we got to try and separate ourselves from the Phillies. And how will we do that? Getting a lead, hoping that, guys like Alonso and Lindor break out of it and Soto is there. And, even the younger guys like Vientos and Mauricio and Alvarez that have come along, that, that happens. And then you have the bullpen to absolutely lock it down when you have a lead. 888-808-1019. Mitchell is in Queens on the Fan. What's up, man?
Hey, Keith, how are you? Love the listen. First of all, that guy who called it before is such a clown. You're class personified. You're really upfront with, as someone who's a huge hockey fan, and you saying how much you learned and how much you've come along. I'm a big fan of your show, and I love how level-headed you are with all of your
Thank
takes,
you.
with all the.
I'm not trying to please everybody. Once in a while, somebody, they're going to call and they're not a fan or whatever. They might be a fan, though, because you waited on hold for an hour. But whatever, forget about that, Mitchell. What you got, man? Thanks for the compliments. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, so I'm a big Mets fan, and one thing that Evan Roberts will say on the Rico, which I think is a very good thing, is that when you see another player traded, and I love what they did with the bullpen, what is the equivalent from our organization, and would we have done that? So for Duran, if you're willing to tell me that we had to part with, like Nolan McLean, Jonah Tong, and probably would have been either like Beatty or Vientos, I don't know that I would be comfortable doing that for, someone who's supposed to be two guys who are on the roster, probably this year, definitely next year. But when you look I don't know if you saw the return that the Mariners gave for Suarez, I'm like, we need one more thump in our lineup. And I'm like, we could have given up someone who's not top 5, but still a good prospect. I would have given that up once we've done already this year. I have one other take that I'm curious to hear you say.
Before you move on, you're saying you were interested in Suarez, and here's the return for Suarez. First baseman Tyler Locklear, he's their number 9 prospect. Right-handed pitcher Hunter Cranton, the number 16 prospect. Right-handed pitcher Juan Burgos, their number 17 prospect. This is Seattle actually going for it, and I mean, they do go for it this way. They don't like to really pay guys, but they go for it this way. You're saying you would have liked to see the Mets match and give up their prospects at those numbers to get Eugenio Suarez as a rental for third base?
You have to look at what the roster has, meaning Lindor is there for a significant amount of time.
You have 3 guys that play third base that can hit.
But I'm saying with what Suarez is doing offensively, and if Vientos is turning that corner and being the guy that he is last year, then the lineup is set to go. And if Alvarez is turning that corner, which he looks like he is, then okay. But that's a bat that there's no one else out there like that I would want.
I don't know. That's a huge return. The Cubs were interested. They backed out. I think the Mariners, they know the player, right? He was a Mariner 2 seasons ago. And this is the Mariners going for it because they're starved. They are starving. Their fan base has nothing. They just, and they have the Cal Raleigh and Randy Arozarena, and they have some pitching, and they're going for it this year in that way. I think it makes sense for them. I don't know if that would have made sense for the Mets.
Yeah, I'm curious. Just one other thing, meaning I think the Yankees are so hard to figure out with just the injuries. Judge and Cashman is a little bit of a prospect hugger, but. So the Dodgers have done nothing so far, and to me, I've always said, like, you never know what's going to be with Duran or Mason Miller because you have to know what the appetite of the team is to trade a controllable star. But to me, I look at and they have so many prospects. They're going to make a trade because they need so much help in the bullpen. It's different than last year. They have their starters healthy now, but they have no one in the pen. I could see them making the trade with one of the Cleveland arms and Steven Kwan. That's where I see.
Yeah, and maybe they're going after Mason Miller. Like the Dodgers, and I say this about them, and I'm sure you've heard me say it, every opportunity that they have to improve their team, they do. In the winter,
they're the new evil empire.
Yeah, they move like the Yankees should be moving as far as they don't spare any expense, and they don't care about prospects. They're about winning, and just because they haven't made a big splash yet doesn't mean that that's not coming today. And they might get the bigger names. Like they might get the Steven Kwan, Mason Miller. If they add Steven Kwan and Mason Miller to this Dodgers team, that's a joke.
Yeah, I don't think I feel like it's more likely to see a blockbuster with Cleveland because they have controllable arms. meaning outside of Clase, they have Gaddis and Smith, and I think it's hard for them to. I don't think like you can franchise everything with the amount of injuries they have in the pen. They have to hope for some injury help, whether it's starting or relieving. I think it's so hard to, mortgage everything with the amount of injuries they have with their staff. I don't know. That's just how I see it.
Thanks for the call, Mitchell. Yeah, a lot is actually happening right now. I'm looking at I think the Dodgers did do something like this. They just came up in a tweet where, let's see, the Rays have something cooking. It's a 3-team deal with Serwinowski, the lefty. He's going elsewhere. Not sure where, but that's not my problem. C. Trent Rosecrans writes that, and he is a reporter from Cincinnati who covers the Reds. And then Fabian Ardaya chimes in, who covers the Dodgers, and says, Serwinowski is going to the Dodgers. Per source, Jeff Passan had the Dodgers inclusion. So the Dodgers are doing some. Dodgers involvement in the trade, per source. The Dodgers send catcher Hunter Verducci to Tampa, and they receive Ben Rortvedt. Look out. Ben Rortvedt. Remember, Yankee fans thought he wasn't a real person. We thought he didn't actually exist. So the Dodgers are getting catcher Ben Rortvedt and right-handed pitcher Paul Gervase from Tampa and left-handed prospect Adam Serwinowski from Cincinnati. So they're lurking right now. They're doing stuff. They're doing something. They're doing something there. 888-808-1019. Phil is in Sheepshead Bay on the Fan. Next, what's up, Phil?
Hey, Keith. Keith, have a good evening. You know that guy I called you from the planet Brewski? This guy's off the wall, so don't even take him seriously.
No.
Just a few bears, Yeah. Anyway, I want to make a few points. The Yankee general manager, this is his MO. He waits till the last minute. I hope he pulls something off. If not, I think they're shaky, but they're going to pull through. I'm a loyal Yankee fan for many, many years. The only problem is they give guys a slap on the wrist. They got to be firmer with these guys.
Yeah.
What's up with the manager? What's going on there?
Fear is not a motivator in Yankee land. Thanks for the call, Phil. There is no fear because everybody's allowed to. It's a country club. Participation trophy era Yanks. Everybody's allowed to do what they do. They don't lose their jobs. They don't get benched. They don't get yelled at. They don't get held accountable in the media. So there's no fear. Fear is a great motivator. If you're afraid that you're going to get your ass chewed out, if you're afraid that you're going to get embarrassed, if you're afraid of your manager pulling you and you not getting a chance to play, then maybe you lock in more. Maybe you do the things you got to do. Okay, now on Twitter right now in the last couple minutes, John Heyman put out that the Padres are working on a trade with the Athletics to get Mason Miller. And now everybody's pointing to him not pitching tonight because I guess AJ Preller and the Padres, who just swept the Mets, and people were talking about, why would they trade Suarez? Maybe they can trade Robert Suarez because they know that they can get Mason Miller. Yikes. So this is percolating right now. A lot of different outlets have it. Mason Miller potentially, nothing confirmed yet. But, I mean, if they're attaching a team and John Heyman is attaching his name to it and other outlets are out there speculating, the Padres are first in line. John Heyman reports the Padres are working on a possible deal for Mason Miller. So we'll keep an eye on that.
And think about this with the Padres, too, real quick. The Padres, they're in the mix for the wild card, but they're only 3 games out of the division as well. That's right there for the taking. And could you imagine if the Dodgers now have to play a 3-game wild card as a wild card potentially on the road?
Sure.
I mean, we're looking at the Dodgers like it's a foregone conclusion.
Not for nothing. I thought the Padres were beating the Dodgers in the postseason last year. And the Dodgers, after they mocked the Yankees, talked about not the Yankees, not the Mets, the Padres as their toughest series. That once they overcame that, they knew they were going to win it all. So the Padres are saying, hey, we need to bolster this roster, add some difference makers, and go for it this year. Honestly, they couldn't hit in that series. So, I mean, I guess they feel like they're going to hit now, but yeah, we'll see. hoping that some more deals break and some things go on while we're on the air. Keith McPherson on the Fan taking your calls. Jerry is in the Bronx next. What's up, Jerry?
Good morning, Keith. I'm a Yankee fan, just like you, like I said before on the last show that I spoke to you. And I am visually impaired, also meaning I'm blind. But I'm calling because I want to find out about Zach Gallen, the Arizona starting pitcher.
Yeah, he hasn't been moved yet. I mean, I assume he's going to be moved. I was talking about him the other night. Like, I would like the Yankees to get him.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. If it was the Yankees or the other teams that are around. You know, I'm hoping the Yankees get him. We hope he pitched
really well against the Yankees this year. I think that he will be really motivated. He's a South Jersey guy. He'll come back closer to home. Hopefully the Phillies don't get him. I think that he's a guy that will be really motivated, putting on the pinstripes, getting closer to home, but also getting an opportunity to compete and show the world what he has before he hits free agency.
Yeah. So I just wanted to find out about that. And let's see what we get tonight at the tape deadline.
So here's the report that I have in my notes that came out, Jerry. Earlier today, John Morosi says, I do believe the Yankees will get one of these starting pitchers, Sandy Alcantara, Edward Cabrera, Zach Gallen, or Merrill Kelly. So they're reporting that the Yankees are checking in on those guys.
Either of the two, like you said, out of the four, I would say Alcantara and Gallen. Yeah.
I'm right there with you. I don't really want Merrill Kelly. No knock to him. I just don't think I don't.
I don't either.
And Edward Cabrera, no. It's like between the Marlins, who I already spoke about, the Yankees having a relationship dealing with the Marlins, get Alcantara. And then with the Diamondbacks,
I would give up anything just to get him.
Yeah.
Either him or Gallen, like I said. But I was just really talking about Gallen because I was, trying to find out about it, if you heard anything.
Yeah, not yet. But that's all I had from earlier today.
Okay, no problem. My regards to your family, and I hope Labor Day is very well to you and the family. Many more.
Yeah.
And don't pay no attention to that guy.
No, I don't. I never met a hater in real life. There's plenty of them.
No, but I'm saying he must have been in Mars or somewhere.
Yeah, he was a few beers deep. That's all good. Thanks for the call, Jerry. Yeah, you guys don't got to take up for me. I'm a grown man. And I'm good, bro. Like, it's a phone call. I deal with haters online, and a couple that come through the phone. It does not bother me. I meet people in real life, and people are extremely kind and nice, and like that's the only thing that matters. A lot of you guys call and are extremely kind and nice. And that's the only thing that matters. All that other negativity and nonsense is not real. Not real. Because I don't ever catch any of that in reality. So let's keep it to the show. There's so much going on in baseball right now with all of these things happening. Let's see. Astros are engaged in discussions for Sandy Alcantara after Dylan Cease talks have cooled. That just came from Bob Nightingale. Take that as you may. Some people, make jokes about Bob Nightingale and his reporting or whatnot. But yeah, do you guys fear the Astros, Yankee fans? They're another team that we know they go for it. They're another team that they will try to improve. Like there was a rumor today that they're interested in Carlos Correa coming back. Bum, bum, bum. Like, oh no, that's Yankee fans' worst nightmare, having Carlos Correa go back to the Astros. We could dance with them. There's a chance we get into the dance in the postseason and run into the Astros. I would like that. Because we still need to exercise those demons. Last year they got knocked out by the Tigers. I'm not ducking any smoke from the Houston Astros. I'd love for them to come back to Yankee Stadium, no matter what round it might be. All right, we're coming up on the last round for me in the 1 o'clock hour. 888-808-1019. Mike and Cortland, I'm coming to you next. Anthony in Staten Island, I'm coming to you after that. We're wide open for calls as the trade deadline. We're hours away from that ending, and there's a lot of stuff going on. Clearly teams are burning the midnight oil. Some on the East Coast drinking coffee. Out west, they're like, no, we're good. So, yeah, I'm sure we're going to get some more news in the next hour before this show ends. Keith McPherson on the Fan. I'll be right back.
It's Evan and Tiki. Afternoons on the Fan 1019 FM. Which guys currently on your team do you say that's a playoff starter? And I think in the Yankees case,
All right, mic switch on the MacBook. Yeah, trying to host a show here. But people got my back. Appreciate it. But like, not for nothing, bro. Like, I try to tell heads, like, it doesn't happen, yo. I see you rocking the Sandberg jersey.
Hey, Rhino. Yeah, Suarez, bro. I was hoping at least one of us was going to get him.
I thought the Cubs are not trying to give up the. Did you saw the package that they gave up for him?
A little systematic or the Cubs. Yeah, no.
Nah, but they're. I mean, the Cubs have enough hitters, and they can get another third baseman. But now you look at like McMahon off the board, keep Brian Hayes off the board, Suarez off the board. Maybe you go get a Willie Castro or.
I wouldn't be mad at it. See what happens.
But yeah, obviously, I think the Mariners, knowing the guy, they're just bringing him home, and then also they're going for it because like the Mariners, and this is what I was saying, they have nothing. Just making the postseason for Mariners fans is the World Series.
Yeah.
Just hosting postseason games at T-Mobile Ballpark and having Cal Raleigh, like, and now like Judge is out, so they're feeling like he's gonna win the MVP, and like just like they're keeping their fan base engaged as business.
Yeah. No, I think it's good for them, but hopefully you guys make some moves.
Pitching wise, yeah. They're saying that the talks cooled on Cease with the Astros, and that's why they're now looking at Sandy Alcantara. What I will say is I hope Brian Cashman is not in bed.
That's probably good much. We'll see.
That Dominguez catch was crazy. Look at this shot that they got of Dominguez. So Cashman obviously is at the game, but like by now he's home. He could still be at the stadium, but like I would be working. Katie, I say the same thing every day.
Good morning at 1 o'clock. I'm Marco Belletti. Yankees mustered all of 2 hits going into the 8th inning, but able to come to life, capped by Ryan McMahon with a walk-off RBI single in the 11th as the Yankees outlast the race by 4. Cody Bellinger, game-tying RBI triple in the 10th. Trent Grisham, a solo shot, tied it in the 8th. Same for Anthony Volpe in the 9th, sending the game to extras after making another error earlier in the game, a league leading 16th. Will Warren didn't factor, but 6 innings of 1-run ball. Bombers also picked up outfielder Austin Slater from the White Sox. Mets very active prior to today's deadline. Add 2 impact arms at the back end of the pen. They get Cardinals closer Ryan Helsley for 3 prospects, along with Tyler Rogers from the Giants. A couple other big moves around the league. The Mariners land power hitting Eugenio Suarez. The Phillies get a new closer, Duran Duran. As for the game, the Padres completed the sweep with a 5-0 victory over the Mets. Yu Darvish fans 7/7, scattered just 2 hits. Clay Holmes allowed 4 runs, 8 hits over 3 2/3, while Francisco Alvarez left this one in the 6th after a foul ball off his mask. No Juan Soto, but then that's hopeful he's back in the lineup on Friday. 81 degrees, clear skies, Central Park. That's what's happening. I'm Marco Belletti.
Smarter. The Fan. 9 FM and always streaming on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn apps.
Yes, sir. Let's get it, man. Hopefully in this hour, some more trades happen. Maybe something for the Yankees, the Mets, or the Yankees and Mets done, because on the East Coast, it's 1 a.m. and the Mets flew back and they're home sleeping, and the Yankee game ended and Brian Cashman probably drove back to his crib. I don't know. He could still be at the stadium. He could still be working. Keith McPherson on the Fan, taking your calls, talking sports. Obviously, the Yankees won in 11 innings, and we could still talk about that. But I think right now the conversation is on the trade deadline, what the Yankees still need, what the Mets have done, and what they potentially still need, and the rest of the league, right? So when you're just looking at the MLB trade deadline tracker and you're talking about positions and resources and players and that type of stuff drying up, like the third base market. You saw Key Brian Hayes today go to the Reds, Eugenio Suarez go to the Mariners. Obviously, Ryan McMahon came to the Yankees a few days ago. Names like Willie Castro are still out there floating around. And, in the pitching department, the pitching is moving. Starting pitching is what we're really waiting to see happen next. Bullpen, obviously, arms are starting to dry up. But, yeah, the last things we've heard here, and as I was talking about the Yankees needing a starter, Sandy Alcantara, Edward Cabrera, Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, there's competition for these guys. There's competition for these guys. So let's get back to the phones. We'll keep an eye and keep refreshing Twitter. And I'll also pull up some other stuff from my notes, from just rumors and things that went on earlier today as we wait. But yeah, still can definitely talk about the Yankee game, as the Yankees won 5-4 over Tampa. And now that sets up today a 1:00 game. There's rain in the forecast. They're going to have to hustle this game up. It's a 1:05 start. Marcus Stroman versus Ryan Pepiot. And, I would love to see the Yankees win and take the series. I would love to see the Yankees make some moves, maybe even during the game, to add some bullpen, add some pitching. But I'm also kind of curbing my enthusiasm, tapering my expectations, because I don't want to be disappointed. I haven't really locked in on one guy. Like, I'm happy with Ryan McMahon. I'm happy with even Med Rosario, who wasn't on my radar. I'm Austin Slater, whatever. But there isn't one pitcher. Like in the chat, they're like, "Oh, I want David Bednar." What's the deal with Mitch Keller? What are the Pirates doing? Who knows? Brian Cashman's supposed to know. And I think Brian Cashman knows that this team needs bullpen repair. They have plenty of bats. They have too many position players. Honestly, like they just added 3 position players. I think I saw Slater wearing 29, Ahmed Rosario in 14, and McMahon in 19. So I don't know. They gotta reshuffle the deck a little bit, but really we need pitching. We need them to bring in some high leverage relievers and maybe a starter. 888-808-1019. I said I would go to Mike in Cortland next. What's up, Mike? You're on the Fan.
Hey, what's up, Keith? How you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you?
Couple of things on the Mets, please, if you don't mind. One on the trade deadline and one on the current status. We have a good trade history with Cleveland. What would it take for us to get Ramirez? If you're giving Quan away, aren't you packing? I mean, what are you going to do with Ramirez anyway? The team don't score as it is. You don't think there's any chance the Mets can get Ramirez?
I don't think there's any chance anyone can get him. I just think his contract, like they could pack it up for this year and sell, but like he's the face of the franchise and he's under contract for years to come, and it's an affordable contract for a perennial all-star. I don't think anybody's getting Jose Ramirez off them.
As a Mets fan, I'd love to see a package for both. You could put the manager in center field for all I care. If we get both of them,
Stephen Kwan, Cade Smith, Shane Bieber, those guys are the names that I think that they're looking to move.
You mentioned Alonso before. I was listening to the Fan earlier, and I couldn't believe the last 40 games. The stats of Lindor and Alonso both batting under 200.
Yeah.
I've been calling this station since Alonso was a free agent, and I'm saying if they sign him, he's got a bat in front of Soto.
It's funny you say that because I was
Lindor is seeing Lindor is seeing and striking out. Lindor's come up with the bases loaded how many times in the number 2 hole?
Yeah, he bat third today. I feel like with Soto being out, that obviously doesn't help anything, and that has changed the lineup. And they're just, I don't know, they're in bad funks. 0 for 4 for Lindor today, 0 for 3 for Alonso today. I mean, all year they've struggled with runners in scoring position, but like the Mets go as those guys go. And if Soto is down and they're not getting it done, there's nothing.
Keith, if there's one guy in the lineup that you can make better, but you put him in a slot, it's Alonso in front of Soto. Alonso will see so many fastballs. It'll be crazy. I mean,
yeah, but the way they look at it, Mike, Soto leads the league in walks, so he's going to get on. Somebody's got to drive him in. Who's the guy hitting all the home runs? It's Pete Alonso.
Well, we see it was a fluke. We knew he's not a 300 hitter. He's not a doubles hitter. So he started the year as a 300 and he's in doubles. But now we see where he is. He's at 250 now. You got to do something. You got to shake it up. You got to be shaken up in that lineup.
We'll see, because they said Soto is day-to-day, but I think Soto will be ready to play Friday.
Well, let's get Quan and that'll be awesome. Thanks a lot, Keith.
Thanks for the call, Mike. 888-808-1019. Yeah, I mean, it is strange. Like Lindor and Alonso have had stretches of looking like National League MVPs this year and last year. And right now they're in a stretch of looking like bums. Like when you go to their numbers, like Lindor in his last, let's say, 30 games, and I forget what the number Mike just said was or what they were talking about earlier. And Lindor's last 30 games, he's batting 181. 4 homers, 17 ribbies. It's tough. Pete Alonso, as I'm pulling up his numbers, are even worse. Like Pete Alonso in his last 15 games, he's got a .094 batting average, 183 on base percentage, 170 slug. That's like what? for a guy that is making $30 million a year, a guy that the fans demanded be back, a guy that is going to opt out and be looking for big money, man. He's in a bad stretch over these last couple of weeks. And those guys are hitting in the middle of the order. Vientos got a knock, and Vientos has done some things recently, but today Vientos had 3 Ks. The Mets were supposed to have one of the best lineups in baseball. The Mets were supposed to be, and I don't know, maybe you could go get Harrison Bader back, try and get some of that mojo back from last year. The OMG Mets, I remember getting on the fan saying like they have double-digit hits, double-digit runs multiple times a week. And now they're just kind of struggling. But, I mean, you also tip your cap to you, Darvish, and the Padres, and how they play in that building. And they've got good players, too. They've got high-price contracts over there as well. They've got guys that get it done, too. And then when you look at the standings, as Zoo pointed out, right, like the Padres just put themselves as the 3rd wild card team. But they're also right there jockeying for position 3 games back of the Dodgers. The New York Yankees are 4 games back of the Toronto Blue Jays. And the New York Yankees have no urgency. Like, watching the Yankees and the mistakes and errors they make is so infuriating. I'm like, how do they not tweak? How do they not freak out? How do they not get mad? You're playing against the Tampa Bay Rays in your building. This is a team that rents your spring training building. You're supposed to sweep them. You can't give them a game, but you give them outs. And I always say they're comfortable with you. They come to the Bronx and they're comfortable in that building. Beat them. Take the series from them. With Stroman on the mound, why can't Stroman have a good outing like he had against the Braves? Why can't Stroman give us 5-6 innings? And then whoever is available, come out of the bullpen and get it done. Like they use Williams, Weaver, Hill tonight. Well, get ready to see freaking JT Brubaker, Jonathan Loaizaga again. I don't know. Whatever it takes. Take the series. You need all these games. There's no more games left for them to smoke. There's no more games left for them to blow. And I think the team's going to rally around any news. They're going to rally around any news that, the Yankees make a trade, whether it happens in the morning, during, before the game. They obviously won't have their phones during the game, but after the game, the Yankees gotta beat Tampa before they go on the road here and face the Marlins and the Rangers, and then they got to add pitching, like add bullpen, starting pitching. And I think that's the priority, so I expect Cashman to do that at like 3 o'clock. 3, 4 o'clock, he's going to be working during the game tomorrow. Let's go to Garden City and talk to Tom on the fan next. What's up, Tom?
Hey, Keith, good morning. I'm glad you just brought the bullpen up because, I mean, you're seeing a lot of these high leverage arms go. I mean, what do we really have left? You got Bednar, Keller, maybe Jake Bird from the Rockies.
Griffin Jack.
Griffin Jack. But what scares me is that Duran went for the Phillies 4 and 6 prospect. That would be like the equivalent of us giving up Spencer Jones and Van Hess. I don't think it's worth it to give up a guy like Spencer Jones for a mid-level bullpen arm.
What they did was, because of the control. He's going to be there for the next couple of years, and I think that I think they gave up a catcher, and I forget the other. I got to go to my notes. They look at it as like those guys aren't coming up anytime soon. The Phillies, their team is pretty locked and stacked with guys that are in their primes and going to finish out their careers. But they're aggressive. They pay guys and they go for it.
What about a guy like Jake Bird from the Rockies, a name that most people really haven't heard? Everyone talks about Bednar, but I think Bird's got just as good as stuff, and he's been much better lately.
They have a relationship with the Colorado Rockies. The Colorado Rockies have a pipeline to New York. Shouldn't cost too much. Send them. Jake Bird definitely can help.
They have to get to at least 2 arms because you can't keep throwing out Brubaker. And I know Heidrick was good tonight, but you can't keep throwing out these AAA arms and just rotating them.
And I'm kind of worried. I'm kind of worried that Cashman is looking at who he's got coming back and Heel and maybe getting creative and saying, okay, Cam Schlittler can go to the bullpen and we're going to get Fernando Cruz back, that maybe we don't need to give up top prospects to go get these guys. And then also looking at how up and down the season has been and how this team is here and then they're there and they make mistakes and then they have heroics. You might be thinking this team is not worth selling any, of our top prospects for.
But we had the number one offense in baseball for the first 2.5 months of the season. If we just solidify the bullpen, we'll be fine. But they can't. Our bullpen ERA, I want to say it's been like something like 6 over the last 6 weeks. Or since early June, our bullpen ERA has been like somewhere around 6. If we can get 2 arms, which is simple, you can fix this.
Yeah, and I thought that that was priority 1, but I don't think they're going in a priority order here. They're going in order of who they can get, and I think Cashman plays the game where he puts pressure on these GMs the day of, hours before, and take it or leave it, and this is the price, and this is what we have for you. Final offer. So that's coming up.
All right, Keith, thank you so much for taking the call. I appreciate it.
Thanks for the call, Tom. Yeah, I mean, you've seen it for years with Cashman waiting until deadline day, 6 o'clock. So I would expect, like I said, like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, things to get done. But also, don't get your hopes up. And it might seem simple to you to go get David Bednar or Jake Bird or Griffin Jacks or whoever. I got the feeling too that there's going to be some marginal moves. It's going to be like a couple extra, like last year where they got De Los Santos, Enyo De Los Santos, who they DFA'd, and they got Mark Leiter Jr. And it's like, not exactly Tanner Scott, not exactly Michael Kopech, not exactly, but like whatever. Like we'll take him. I'm not expecting him to, and like, don't get me wrong, I'm on tomorrow at 7. If Cashman does somehow come out with Mason Miller and pry him away from the Padres, we will sing Cashman's praises. Well done. But I think Cashman is very much the type to not get fleeced and prospect hug and not go overboard and say, hey, we got this guy coming back. We got that guy coming back. We'll be all right. We got this, we can do this. We can make this move. And here's this guy instead, a pivot, a plan B instead of going, plan A that everybody is screaming about. Jonathan out in Los Angeles on the Fan. My guy, how you feeling out there?
Yo, what's good, my guy? I mean, good thing we come out with a win, bro, because I'm going to be honest with you, bro. I'm fed up with Devin Witt, man. I mean, I know we got him, and I'm not the type that if I'll go to a game, I'll boo him. Speaking of that, that's crazy, man. Those fans booing Volpe, man, and then the other day they're cheering him. I mean, come on, it should be.
Bro,
we're on the same boat.
I was in there the other night, and I can't fight the fight anymore because it's every night he's spiking the ball, and it's just a weird space to be in right now, bro, because it's like his offense, he's on a power surge, high voltage. So it's like, the fans are ready for him to mess up and they want to boo him because it's the Bronx cheering the Boo Birds. I never boo the Yankees. I don't understand that, but I'm not fighting anybody on it anymore. Would you go to
the distance that you'll boo?
No, never. I've been in there when Stanton has had the golden sombrero or Judge has struck out 4 times or like guys have committed terrible errors or get rocked. Joey Gallo. I went to a bunch of Joey Gallo terrible performances and never booed that guy. Aaron Hicks, Josh Donaldson. Chris Carter still owes us a bunch of home runs. I was in there for that too. But with Volpe, man, what I'm hearing from fans and their frustration is it's because people are ridiculous, but they're like, oh, they said he'd be the next Derek Jeter. No, they didn't. Oh, we don't care about his family or his local ties or him being the hometown kid. Like, that's why he gets special treatment. We're booing the organization. Like, it is a mess. I don't understand for the life of me, though, why, this kid can't throw the ball anymore. It's all in his head.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, I'm a truck driver, and trust me, when I stop and I'm trying to, get it into a driveway and I'm stopping traffic, I could feel the pressure. And I think he's feeling the pressure. Him being in front of a lot of fans are like, oh, damn, it is, bro, we're human. But once again, I will not go to the distance that I'll be booing someone, especially that's what the Yankees, man. I'll probably stay quiet. I'll probably, curse them out or something in my own self, like I did today with Devin Williams. But I wouldn't go the distance. And regarding Devin Williams, I'm just fed up with him, man. I mean, I just really hope the Yankees get. I mean, I know it's not gonna happen, but what do you think about this, man? I was thinking hopefully Cashman gets rid of him, he will bring back a good package deal, and with that same package deal, you add a few little small pieces and go all in on Mason Miller. I mean, it's because the thing is, he's going to come back and bite us in the ass in October with Devin Williams, bro.
Yeah.
It's going to come back, and S is going to hit the fan, bro. I can see it now, man. But what do you think about that, bro? Other than that, talk to you tomorrow, my guy. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for the call, Jonathan. Let's go back. But just start with what they gave up to get Devin Williams. They gave up Nestor Cortez, who had to get up out of here, change the scenery. Freddie Freeman, grand slam, walk-off grand slam, had to get up out of here. But Caleb Durbin was a guy that they were telling you was going to be the second baseman, and Jazz was going to play third base. And, he was balling in the offseason, whatever. Because of what they gave up for a year rental in Devin Williams, and because of the course with Devin Williams, where they wanted him to be the closer, they moved Luke Weaver. I think some of that has affected Luke Weaver too. Obviously the injury, but him being a closer and having a closer mentality and then a setup guy, whatever. The Yankees are fully invested in Devin Williams. They never gave up on him. I know I did. I had to retract a statement and apologize and say, because I don't know. Devin Williams, I was in there, I watched him blow it, and I watched the fans turn on him. I'm like, it's not going to work out. They're saying that, there's a beard curse. They're blaming him for, going on paternity leave. They're chanting, we want Weaver. It's going to be too much. The Met fans are saying that Pete Alonso broke him. I'm like, this guy's never going to be able to handle New York. It's not going to work out. It has to work out, and it has worked out. But he got tonight. And that's going to happen. He only throws 2 pitches. And, when he throws back-to-back nights, the second night, I don't know. But that's your closer. I don't see them trading him. I don't see them getting Mason Miller either. I think they don't want to shop Devin Williams. They want to get what they can get out of Devin Williams this year that they have him, and they're going to hope that he's the better version of himself. And Luke Weaver, I know there's a theory out there that, you could trade Devin Williams because you have Luke Weaver. Luke Weaver's not the same guy anymore. He's just not. And I guess he was eventually going to always turn back into a pumpkin. We love his personality, his entrance, and we love him being this ferocious jungle cat. He's not the same guy that he was as the closer last year that they were able to go to when Pray Holmes wasn't the guy. In my chat right now, I just saw Ade says, I didn't boo Volpe. He had me stressed out, but I was happy when he hit home runs. And then he said, I did boo Clay Holmes. I didn't even boo Clay Holmes. And Clay Holmes had 13 or 14 blown saves. The fans were booing Clay Holmes upon his bullpen exit. They were booing Clay Holmes immediately. Let's stay in Los Angeles. Bob is back on the Fan in New York. What's up, Bob?
Hey, Keith. Before I rip Cashman, I want to say one thing. Props to Dominguez for making that catch.
And props for them winning. So that is substantial, because that wouldn't have meant anything if they lost the game. But yes, Dominguez, we see you working in left field. That was a hell of a catch to keep that inning to only 1 run given up.
He won the game, and I got to say, I'm hard on the kid just because I think he's a defensive liability. But if he keeps working and that's why you love sports, whether it's for your son or you. You work, you practice, you get better. So I was happy to see that. Props to the kid, and hope it keeps up.
Sure.
The Cashman thing. I mean, we can talk about the deadline tomorrow. Let's see if he makes a wonder move. Chances are he's going to sign Mark Leiter Jr. and someone inconsequential.
Yep.
The thing I'm calling about is this, and I think it's fair, man. I mean, I rip these guys. I'm a Dodger fan. I think we're a well-run organization. Golden State Warriors, well-run organization. Tampa Bay organizations. Aaron Boone, when he saw Aaron Judge wince, throwing the ball in center field.
Yeah.
We all saw it. The announcers saw it. They leave him in the game. They play him another game.
Yeah.
I'm reading an article saying a flexor strain is basically the same thing as a calf strain leading to an Achilles. That's the golden goose. The fact that our organization is so not on the ball where we leave our golden goose in the game clearly in discomfort and pain, not only for the game, for another game.
2 games.
That's not a well-run organization.
That's insane. I talked about it, and I'll say it again because I think I said it in an open one night. But I'm like, would they think he was going to sleep it off? They thought he could hide it. Why are they always trying to lie? Why are they always trying to deceive us? That's why we have trust issues. That's why they pee on your head, tell you it's raining. That was that was the second game of the Blue Jays series, the game that they won. The next game, he DH'd, then they had the off day. That Friday, I was at the game against the Phillies. He was out in right field. So you knew he had an issue. You put him back in right field knowing that ball will find you, like he's got to be out there trying to make plays.
The fact that we played the franchise player with a hurt elbow for 2 games after Michael Kay saw it, how can you be a $300 million franchise?
The whole internet saw it.
Franchise.
The whole internet saw it because like all that stuff gets clipped and everybody starts circulating. And I mean, people called me up and talked about it. I think before I even went on that night, my live chat was like, Keith, did you see Judge in the 6-7? I'm like, yeah, but I didn't want to make anything of it. And neither did the Yankees.
And now we're watching a guy like Duran, who's a difference maker, go into a team.
Yeah.
When was the last time Cashman signed a difference maker at the trade deadline?
Jazz, he's in a little bit of a slump. Other than that, Harrison Bader. But of course, Harrison Bader hits and nobody else hits.
I mean, we got to get out Cantor. We got to make a splash because we need some momentum. We need some talent. We need some mojo coming in because, by the way, Bellinger and Goldschmidt, I love Bellinger. I'm a Dodger fan. He was done right by me. These guys in games 130, 40, 50, 60, you're going to see it.
Yeah.
These are not young men. These are aging veterans, and it's not an accident.
Clutch. They've been good, but I think now the roster has so much depth and like good depth. Not Pablo Reyes, not Yorbit Vivas, not Oswald Peraza. I think they've done that with the position players. I think they have room to send another position player away, but they have to get pitching difference makers coming out of the bullpen and maybe another starter as well. Thanks for the call. Appreciate you, Bob. Staying out in Cali, Mark in California before we go to break. What's up, Mark?
Well, what's going on? So I was just reading the report, Keith, that they were saying that the Yanks are extensive talks with Cease of San Diego.
Yeah, he threw like 7 innings of no-hit baseball here in Yankee Stadium. I was at that game, and then the Yankees came back to win. Him versus Max Fried.
He's got 23 strikeouts in his last 3 games, by the way. He has hit or missed stuff. Still, he's 3-10. But you'd have to give up Trent Grisham for him. That's the centerpiece that what they're asking.
I know, and we're looking at how clutch Trent Grisham has been, and we need that clutch in the postseason.
Unbelievable. Trent Grisham is probably going to hit 27 homers for the Yankees, 27, 28 homers, which is like unbelievable.
And he does it at the he does it to tie the game or take the lead, which is like
I know, but the thing is he hasn't been consistent through his career, so you gotta sell high.
He just was over the other day as the leadoff hitter. He's really not the greatest leadoff hitter, but he's been clutch.
No, he's not. But he's clutch, but like you want to see him in October, but obviously you got to like trade high for him, right? The problem here is I saw the error today by Volpe. I didn't watch the whole game. I turned it off in the 8th inning because I had to do something. I was like, I came back, it was 5-4, and I was like, I guarantee you Volpe had an error, and Devin Williams gave up the game. I turned it on, and that's exactly what happened. But to me,
you just felt that in your bones.
I felt it, man, because it happens a lot. I'm like, Volpe's going to hit 24 to 25 homers and drive in about 90, bro. That, on paper, for a second baseman is phenomenal. That's great. But the errors is what's continuously happening. So, and that's just one aspect of his game. If he can clean that up, he's okay, bro. Like the low average will come up.
And that's why, and I didn't say it tonight, and I'll say it now. Thanks for the call, Mark. That's why I'm saying the Yankees have to fix this. I think it's ridiculous that they think he's just going to go home, come back to the ballpark, take his infield practice, and then in-game be fixed. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it's broken, fix it. Try every single way to fix it. And you know the way that they haven't tried? Putting Ahmed Rosario at shortstop. Put him there at 105. But I guess you're not going to do that because you have this series on the line. But like, man, I'm watching the play now. These are routine plays. His foot is on the grass. Man, make the throw. Why are you skipping that 4 feet in front of Ben Rice, who like I feel bad for Ben Rice because it's in his head too. It's in everybody's head. It's in every Yankee fan's head. Oh, Volpe's got the ball. Can he make the throw? Oh, that's what the stadium makes a collective. Oh, and then that turns to boo. And he's getting booed. And you could see his face on camera. You can see how he's thinking about it. At least he turned this one into a homer. I mean, he turned it into a homer the other night too. 16 homers, 16 errors. Keep McPherson on the fan for like a little more than 16 minutes after we come back from this break. Call me up, BRB.
Odyssey's We Can Survive.
Yeah, this is a quick show because the Yankees went to extras. Let me tap in with y'all in the chat. Looks like the Yankees need a third baseman from the 90s. Yeah, Scott Brocious. They got Ryan McMahon. Is Angel Hernandez still umping? Didn't he retire? I think he retired, which, like, good. You still got, like, Laz Diaz. You still got Phil Cuzzy. Let me see. My boy Will on the edit. From the top of my head, thinking back to things, Volpe skips that ball, and it's like, come on, that's 16 errors now. But in his last 11 games, he's got 5 errors and 6 home runs. What a clutch homer! The kid hits that homer to left field, drops his bat, hops, skips, electric. And you knew Devin Williams was due for one, right? I don't care who you are, walking guys never helps. Here comes Lowe to the plate, and it's like, are they gonna lose this game like this? Austin Wells, I don't know if he was drunk. Oh, I screamed. I know. How does that happen? Well, how do you not know how many outs there are? Cody Bellinger with the triple. They show you that they can come back, that they can fight. Multiple walk-off wins, come from behind wins, never say die wins, so you can't give up on that team. Brian Cashman, you said you were going to town. Don't go to Midtown. We want to go to Titletown. Well done. All right. I'm working right now. I'm working on the socials. Shout out to Will, came through with it. Let's get that out the door right now if I possibly can. All right, we're back quickly here. I think I have 19 minutes left. I know Zoo's going to hit that music on me, and then I got to get out of the way. This is a quick show because the Yankees played into extras, and that went a while, and that's okay.
Back at it. Let's get right to the phone. Bill is in Pittsburgh on the Fan. What's up, Bill?
Hey, Keith. Great to talk with you. Excellent show tonight. Exciting times for Yankee fans. And got a few things I want to unpack here tonight. First of all, is there anything more unnerving than watching Carlos Stanton bat with somebody at third base in less than 2 outs? It is... it's really painful. You know, he's such an enigma in baseball. He hits the ball so hard and sometimes can carry a team, but there are times he looks like he's never played the game before.
Oh, yeah.
And that last at bat tonight, you know, two kinds of guys that strike out a lot. One that just is either early, late, up or down. You don't have to throw strikes to get him out. And it's a problem. And there are times when against a right-handed batter in those kinds of situations, I would surely welcome somebody else at bat instead of him, because you just can't have a guy swinging at pitches 6 inches outside the strike zone that have never been a strike and go back to the dugout and take a quick right turn.
Yeah,
that's an issue.
The two pitches, I just went back to them. The changeups that were thrown were so far out of the strike zone, and it's like, what are you going to do with those pitches, bro? We just need a single to get the runner. I don't know that. As many guys as they left on base, I said that earlier too. You know, the Yankees, that's all they were doing today was stranding runners. They were 3 for 13 with runners in scoring position. They left 10 on base, leaving Cody Bellinger on after the heroics of the triple that I'm like, these guys aren't serious.
Well, and with all due respect to the caller a few moments ago, Cody Bellinger and Paul Goldschmidt are two different players and in two different levels of their career. Paul Goldschmidt is really in a funk. I'm not so sure he should ever bat against a right-hander again. He's starting to look a little bit like Stanton, but you know, Bellinger has been a savior.
Yeah,
that guy is a ball player. I mean, he is a ball player, and without him, they'd be in a whole world of hurt. But you know, the thing I want to say is that you're not going to be able to fix these holes that the Yankees have and these problems they have by going out and getting 2 relief pitchers, mid-level, and a good starter. These guys, these 23 guys that are going to remain on the roster, are going to have to step up. They're going to have to give you better at bats. They're going to have to hit in the clutch. You know, 40-some% of baseball games are decided by 1 or 2 runs, and that's 1 at bat each game by each team. That's all it is, and that's why it's critical for your relief pitchers not to come in and give up 2 runs in an inning. And that's why it's important that with a guy on third and less than 2 outs, that you get your bat on the ball. And, you know, there needs to be more situational hitting. You know, they just have to be able to step up and play a lot more like they did in the first 2 months than they have in the last 2 months, because there's a lot of inconsistency in these lineups.
Thanks for the call, Bill. Yeah, fingers crossed. I think the hope is there will be more situational hitting with guys that you added, like Ryan McMahon, a pinch hit from Ahmed Rosario, or an Austin Slater in these certain situations. Hopefully the manager is telling them, hey, you know, we just need a knock here or a sac fly here, or, you know, lay down a bunt here. And hopefully you lay down a bunt to move the runner and the runner knows how many outs there are. You know, going back to what you said, and I think I might have just been heading into the break, and it's late, but like, yeah, we definitely can't lump Goldschmidt and Belly together and say they're 30-somethings and they're, you know, Belly is looking like he's still in his prime. I don't know exactly how old he is. I think he might have just turned 30. He's 7 years younger than Paul Goldschmidt. Paul Goldschmidt looks like Father Time is tapping him on the shoulder, and he knows it. He knows it in his mannerisms, and he does not look confident. He has no pop. He's striking out a ton. It's funny. Like I said, I got mad when he had the 3 strikeouts against the Toronto Blue Jays in Toronto, and I got on air and I ripped him, and that got put online, and people were like, oh, you're not paying attention. You're not watching the games. But Goldie's been good. And I'm like, it's kind of worn off for me. What say you now? Maybe I just was a week early on it. Like, Goldie is not somebody right now that should be batting third in the lineup. Goldie's not someone right now that you're really excited for his at-bats. Like, he might be able to come through against some lefties, but I don't know. And then, like I said, I laughed today when they put him in as a defensive replacement with Devin Williams on the mound, because it's like he can not make the scoop either. We've seen Volpe have dirt balls thrown at Ben Rice and Goldschmidt that don't get scooped. But yeah, with the Yankees, they do have enough players, man. They do have enough guys that can be clutch, that can, come up with timely hits, and we've seen them do it. They need to add. I need another left-handed reliever. I would like a power pitcher, somebody coming out of the bullpen that can, strike guys out, swing and miss, and maybe another starter. But like I said, I'm not getting my hopes up because at this point, I feel like it's going to get down to the wire, and Cashman's going to try and put pressure on other teams and GMs, and there is no pressure. Like, other teams are open for business that will give up their top prospects, and Cashman's not going to have the higher ground to, just tell these guys, hey, this is what we want. This is what we need. Thomas is in center reach on the Fan next. What's up, Thomas?
Yo, Keith, I'm back. What it do?
Yo, did you graduate, man? What's going on? Where you been? You've been studying?
Nah, I really just been chilling. I've been listening though. Haven't got a chance to call.
Yeah.
For a while.
You're allowed to listen and not call. Yeah, that's all right.
I was looking at real quick, just mention Mets pieces. I today, first deal, Rogers is a great pitcher. I think it was a good move. I just felt like it was a little bit too much. I'm still fine with the trade. I really like getting the Cardinal Helms. How do you pronounce that? It's like Helms. He led the league in saves last year. That was awesome. But I'm mainly now looking at getting Luis Robert tomorrow. I'm looking for that. The Mets need another. I just personally think they need another bat. And I was really looking at prospects, and I was saying top 5 for me. Those top 5 prospects are guys I would want to keep. But guys like I'm gonna just look at the list again here. Like Ryan Clifford, they got other players. They
definitely have enough to go get them, and you probably want to try and keep them away from the Phillies, who are also interested in them.
Yeah, because we were Mets people. They were rumored to Duran today, and he got scooped up by the Phillies today. And I think that's a good trade for both teams, honestly. Because I think Abel is actually going to be a good pitcher for the Twins. I think that that guy who they also got, I think he's in like single A right now. Apparently, he's doing decent. Real quick mention. Worst trade I think so far was today with Steven Matz getting traded to Boston because they gave up a guy who was currently batting .308. But the Jordan guy in Boston, I think he's in Double A or Single A. He's currently batting .300 and he's having a great year in the minors. I actually the other day I saw a minor league game was on. I turned it on. He had a good game. Like I just think I like the way he looks at the plate. I think he's really good. So I think that's honestly a steal for the Cardinals. Yeah. And they got Met prospects too.
What I'll say, you got to give to get. And I kind of been using the one man's trash. Like, it's not even trash. It's just like you got to give to get. It's a trade. You're supposed to be exchanging value, swapping value. And it's supposed to be, hey, we have a surplus of this and we don't need this, so we can give it to you. That's supposed to be the deal. So, even as you talked about first, the Rogers deal, it just seemed like a lot because it was 3 players for 1 rental. It just seemed a lot because it was 2 guys that you saw play at the major league level and another guy who's knocking on the door. But you will not care if your bullpen in this postseason of Gregory Soto, Tyler Rogers, Ryan Helsley, Edwin Diaz, and maybe somebody else is absolutely nails and locking it down. Thanks for the call, Thomas. Good to hear you check back in with us. Both teams aren't done. A move looks good with another move. A move looks good with another move. And when you look at your total deadline and the moves that you made, then you can weigh what has been done. But yeah, I mean, Jose Buto has not been good, so the Mets were done with him. And you know what the Mets needed to make room for? Oh, they added 2 other relievers. Like, they don't have room for you in the pen anymore. Blade Tidwell, the day walker, Blade, he made some spot starts. He made some appearances. He doesn't have a future here. And Gilbert, 24-year-old kid who's in the outfield that maybe he can crack the San Francisco Giants roster, but the Mets aren't going to miss him. So Tim is in West Orange on the Fan next. What's up, Tim?
Hey Keith, how you doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. I love the trades that David Stern's made so far with again Helsley and Rogers. I was a little upset that they got rid of Gilbert because hopefully he doesn't turn into another PCA. But I don't think he will because he wasn't that.
Right. I think it's just recency with PCA turning into PCA. Now there's this like
right,
PTSD of like, who's the next? It's hard to be Pete Crow Armstrong. Like, I don't know.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know if Gilbert is turning into him.
Yeah, well, I wanted to talk about the next move that I think the Mets should go after. I definitely want to see them get Roberts from the White Sox, but I don't want to give up Acuna or Vientos because Vientos, to me, with Winker and Marte leaving next year, obvious with being free agents, Vientos should be the full-time DH next year, and Acuna is just too important to this team for what he does with pinch running and late-game defensive replacement for Beatty. What I think they're going to do, I like a guy bringing back like Harrison Bader, who the only reason he didn't get re-signed last year is because they went with Jose Siri, who's out now with a broken leg, and he was a lot cheaper. But you bring back a guy like Bader, who's not going to cost you that much, and I think he would definitely solve some issues in center field where he might give you a little more pop than Tyrone Taylor, who I like Tyrone Taylor. I think he's very good defensively, but he's not giving you any offense.
He's played way more than he should have played. And Harrison Bader is part of the OMG Mets and the mojo you had last year. I mentioned they need to bring some of that back. Absolutely. And there's one other guy that I was thinking about if they brought him back. But what do you think about maybe going after Jose Iglesias and bringing OMG back to the Mets? Because he did a lot for the Mets last year, and I don't know why they didn't re-sign him. Because they wanted the young guys to get the opportunity that they've gotten this year. Thanks for the call, Tim. I highly doubt that they bring him back. And the Padres just used him against the Mets. I don't think they're trying to shop him either. He doesn't cost anything, and he's a little bit of a spark plug when they need him to be. Matt is in Monroe on the Fan. You got it, Mac.
Hey, Keith. How you doing?
Good. Bring it home.
Yeah, no, I don't usually stay up this late, but I do listen to your stuff later on usually. Couple of points. One, I'm a big Yankee fan, so I'm really concerned about the Yankees this year. I think they're okay with their fielding, their batting. The thing I'm really concerned about is the pitching. They haven't really addressed anything there, and a lot of people are moving really quickly.
Yeah, and it scares me.
What do you think we could do?
I think that Brian Cashman is resting on help is on the way in the building, like, on the 40-man. Like, I think he's looking at Heal coming back
mojo
and being able to shuffle guys around like Cam Schlittler to the pen, Ryan Yarbrough coming back and thinking, hey, we have enough. And I can't fault him because, like, the Yankees always have enough pitching. They don't have enough hitting. And now it looks like they do have a lot of different hitters. Like, what is going on with Volpe? Like, is Volpe going to keep homering? Trent Grisham homering? Bellinger? Wells runs into homers? Yeah. Dominguez can hit? Like, I know I'm forgetting some other guys. Oh, I'm forgetting Stanton and Judge, the main two guys that hit the homers. Like, they have a bunch of guys that if they actually hit in the postseason, the pitching should be enough. But we're not done. The trade deadline is at 6 p.m. I think Cashman, I mean, he might be resting on, hey, we've got enough, but I don't think he's that foolish. I think he's done the work, and we just got to wait. And there's going to be another left-handed reliever at least. It can't just be Tim Hill. And they're going to add some bullpen help for sure. No. Thanks for the call, Matt. I don't think that Cashman's going to let this deadline go by and it just be, hey, we added a bunch of position players. Charles is in Montvale, New Jersey on the Fan next. Hello, Charles.
Oh, hey, Keith. How you doing?
Good.
Oh, cool. Thanks. I had an idea about the infield that I think maybe could work. I don't know what your thoughts are. Like, Jazz seems more athletic, or possibly the most athletic on the team. Can he handle shortstop and maybe move to second?
I mean, he used to play shortstop. I think he came up as a shortstop. They moved him off shortstop in Miami, put him in center, but he really became like a true second baseman. He is more athletic than everybody else, and I don't think the Yankees are going to do that. I think the Yankees are like I said, we are now borderline insane, doing the same things and expecting different results. oh, yeah, Volpe, you just heard Aaron Boone, like, yeah, we got to work through it. We got to fix it. And then what happened today? Another ball thrown in the dirt where it's like, bro, they gotta give him a break. They gotta give him a day off. They gotta do something, because just going through the motions every day and expecting it to change is nuts. It's not changing. It's every night.
Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of my only point, but yeah.
Yeah, they won't do it. It's funny because they'll play him out of position. They'll play Jazz out of position and put him at third base to get DJ LeMahieu in there. But, like, Volpe is allowed to commit an error a night, it seems, and they're fine with it. They just accept it. And, like, doesn't that feel wrong to you? It definitely feels wrong to me. Thanks for the call, Charles. It just feels wrong. I know we're rooting for the kid, one of us, local kid, all that, yada, yada, yada. Like, to let somebody cost the team over and over and over and over. They got bailed out the last 2 nights. He helped with that, bailing them out with his bat. But it's like, damn, like, you guys are sitting in the passenger seat watching this kid crash the vehicle over and over again. So, that's all good. We got insurance. Like, I don't know, not even insurance. It is insane to me that we just keep watching him not make throws. And yeah, go ahead, kid. Like, these games count. This matters. It's not a big deal. It is a big deal. Like, if he does it again in this 105, like, it is driving me nuts. It is driving me nuts, because it's not that he can't do it. It's not that he can't make the throw. It's he's thinking so much about it. It's like they show him in slow motion. It's like, can you airmail a throw? I'd rather see Volpe throw one into the net. It's like all of the throws to first base have to skip and hit the dirt. Insane. John is in Schenectady. My last call of the night. You're in there, John.
What's up, brother? Thank you so much for having me on. Listen, I just got back from the game, long drive. I appreciate listening to you on the way up. You got me through the drive, kept my eyes open.
Good.
I want to say, as the Yankee fans, I don't normally do this, but I walked away after Williams gave up that home run. I told my old lady, I'm like, all right, let's go. And she's like, no. I'm like, no, that's because they've disappointed me over and over and over. And we continue to see the Volpe errors, and we continue to see the penny pinching, the stepping over dollars to pick up quarters with Howe and the front office. And it's just frustrating. And I think a lot of Yankee fans kind of feel that way. A lot of people got up and left with me after that home run.
Yeah, it's annoying.
So it is. And what I wanted to throw out there was maybe something, maybe Cashman spitball something a little bit different as far as the trade deadline this year. Maybe you give up a Dominguez and another piece, and you go get Steven Kwan.
Thanks for the call. Yeah, now everybody's trying to hit the Kwan, but it's not that simple as just Dominguez. Great. I mean, I would love that. Plus defender, that'd be your leadoff hitter. It's going to take more than Dominguez. You're going to have to give it some prospects too. And the Guardians aren't trying to help the Yankees block them from, succeeding in the American League for years to come. But yeah, let me hit refresh one more time before this music ends. And I got to get out of here. Make sure there's no trades happening, no news breaking right now. No, they're still just talking about Eugenio Suarez. He's going to make his debut with the Mariners on Thursday. All right, Big Mac's coming up next. He'll take you guys through the Mets and the Yankees talk and the trade deadline stuff. I'll see you at 7 p.m. I'm out.
Sports Radio 101.9 FM.
Yo, appreciate y'all, man. Hit the yada I mean on the way out. We'll do this again at 7 earlier tomorrow. The 5-hour vehicle trade deadline special, 7 p.m. to 12. Hopefully the Yankees and Mets get some more players to help them push towards the World Series, and we can react and talk all about it on the Fan. Don't let none of these haters affect y'all vibe. Don't let none of these haters slow you down. That's the whole point. That's what they supposed to do. Hate. Let a hater hate. It ain't supposed to affect you. It don't affect me. I got to keep winning. Y'all going to see me win a lot more, and y'all help me win. Appreciate y'all. Have a good one.